Hey everybody, welcome to Frame Trap. I am your host, Brad Ellis. I am joined by my co-host, Michael Damiani.
What's up?
The man in the booth, Don Casanova.
Hello, hello.
And our guest this week is someone you may not have heard of. It's just some dude named Mike Huber.
Found me on the street.
Yeah, just some random guy.
Michael slap a 10 on a Huber.
Michael slap a 10 on a Huber.
Those 10s.
Please tell that story.
No. That'll make Bloodworth uncomfortable.
I mean,
That's a new segment we should do.
Making
Blood
uncomfortable?
uncomfortable.
Probably pretty easy.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do it when he's on the show next.
Yes.
And just have him right in the middle of us.
Yes.
Make him sweat.
Oh,
He's already sweating right now, probably.
Maybe. I'm into that.
Twitch.
Mike, how you doing, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling
Pretty good?
fantastic. I'm a little tired.
Yeah.
Preparing for our betting special, our Punished Bets show.
To be honest, this is all a mess, and I'm confused about what's going on.
It's usually a mess.
Yes.
I've done a lot of prep. I put it off to the last minute, so I have nobody to blame with myself, but that's been kind of my struggle my whole life. You know, I'm a procrastinator. It is what it is.
Sure.
And
A lot of people are.
so I'm a little tired, but I'm energized.
Yeah, you got some fresh brew right there.
Hyped.
Damiani, how you doing, man?
Doing okay.
You've been grinding
Tired.
on a game we're going to talk about today.
That's right.
You're tired? You've been playing late?
Been playing a little late.
Playing late?
I think I was, so I got one of those things off a recommendation from a friend. They didn't directly recommend it to me, but on Twitter they were recommending it to people in general. One of those like things to prevent like your neck when you're like holding a phone in bed. So it's like a little like arm thing that like bends or whatever. So it's on my bedpost. And it hangs over it, so like I can lie in bed.
Shit.
It's just right there.
Dude, what?
So, yeah,
Sound like Ready Player One.
Yeah, what the hell?
Progenitor shit,
Wow.
dude.
so there's like also do that with the Switch. So just like take out the two Joy-Cons, put it in there, lie down like perfectly like this. But dude, I fell asleep with Xenoblade 3. When I woke up again, I was like, this auto running into a wall. I was like, whoops,
Dude, you maniac.
like whoops. I was like glad I didn't run off a cliff. or
Good
something.
lord. That makes it seem like we're like forcing you to play this game.
Yeah, just
No sleep.
No, it's like because I'm past the point where I like need to capture. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
at a certain point, it's like I want to lie in bed and play it, and so it's just very like also just checking out how it runs in handheld and stuff. We'll get into that later, but yeah, like putting like up to like 2. For me now, 3 a.m. is extremely late. I'm having
too.
a hard time staying up later than that period, even when I try to.
Right.
Like 1 a.m. is usually the latest I go to bed, but like with this, like I have a little bit more energy.
Yeah.
But like I'm like, dude, this game's good. I'm having fun. Sleep.
Damiani, the image in my head when you told me this, for whatever reason, I saw you strapped down. You're like strapped down.
The evil thing.
I was imagining him with his eyes taped open. Like,
And I just imagine Bloodworth standing by his bed with a ruler and just going,
Get to work.
Yeah.
Making blood uncomfortable now.
Don, what's going on with you, man? How you doing?
Not much. I'm doing all right. Hanging in there. Feeling good.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a lot on your docket. I know you've been preparing some things for our bets.
Yeah, this bet thing makes perfect sense. I don't know what's happening. People don't know what's going on here or something.
To be
You know, it makes perfect sense to us, Don. Everyone else
I will
is
say-
out of the loop.
That's what
I
it
just
is.
don't know how much stuff I have to do, and Damiani told me that Blood was taking it pretty seriously on one thing, and I didn't even know about this till today, or I just forgot because it's a very convoluted process.
It
but
is.
It'll be fine.
It is.
My favorite thing to do, and I think Don probably will agree here, is keeping the allies on their toes,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to bets.
definitely with you two. That's for sure. I don't know anyone besides you two that keeps me on my toes like that.
Jeez.
Just I get like a huge ass script from Don. I'm like, oh my god, but it's cool. It's a good script. All right, you talked about this just a little bit, Damiani, but this is something I've been wanting to play, but I have no time, unfortunately, yet. That's Xenoblade 3. Finally, I guess not finally, because 2 came out 2017.
Yeah, it came
so
out
it hasn't been.
December 2017.
too long. I guess 5 years is pretty long.
Well,
but-
they also had the remaster.
They did, you're
and
right. They did definitive edition of 1.
with
That's right.
the extra content come out, and they had Torna come out in between as
You're right.
well.
They've been busy
So
then. They've been real
Microsoft
busy.
has been like
They've
putting
been
out
good.
content pretty much every like 2 years. They've been
Yeah.
putting out something, but since then, so. And also they're assisting other projects, including working on Breath of the Wild sequel. So yeah, they are very busy, but very productive. Very productive.
Yeah. When did they acquire them?
Back in the 2007, 2000. It's the 2000s. They got them from Bandai.
Right.
They're just Namco at the time. They weren't
Right.
Bandai Namco.
They were doing
yet.
Xenosaga, right?
Yeah, they were doing the Xenosaga series because they moved over there after Xenogears from SquareSoft.
Yeah.
Didn't really like some things that were going on there, so
Sure.
they went over to Bandai. To Namco, and
Right.
did their stuff over there. One of the like their earlier stuff was like Baten Kaitos, like on GameCube.
Oh,
Remember
right,
that
they
game?
did that?
Yeah, they did one of the portable Dragon Ball Z games or whatever
Which
as
one?
well.
Do you know?
I don't remember.
Was it
but,
Legacy
like,
of Goku?
It's a good one.
Okay.
Dude, I played one on Game Boy Advance that was incredible, and it was Goku flying around like Namek and Earth, Vegeta
It's
Saga.
Legacy of Goku.
Yeah.
I had that.
Game ruled.
All right. Doma, talk to me about Xenoblade 3. Tell me about this.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, this is like a highly anticipated like, title. As you're
It
saying.
seems like this is the most anticipated of all three of them.
And I can say through like how much time, like a lot of time put into. I have no idea how long the overall game is, and like I have no idea where we're going in terms of that. But I can like safely say through like a good chunk of the game, you don't have to play jack squat of the previous games.
Oh, really? That is interesting.
Yeah, it's not holding anything over your head like that. It's very much very independent. Thematically, there's stuff that you can
of course.
see ingrained in it from like the previous 2 entries, but I kind of really appreciate that. It is the characters. I want to start there. I was trying to think where I should start. I want to start with the cast.
Okay.
It's a young cast, like a bunch of teenagers, but I have to say, from both a design standpoint and from a writing and characterization standpoint, I actually really like this cast a lot.
More than 2?
Yeah.
Is 2 not great?
2 was
Two's
my
a weird
least. So I think there's 2 camps of people. There are people who like 1 more. There are people who like 2 more. For
I like
various
1
reasons.
more.
I'm on the
I
boat
love
of I
that.
like 1 more than 2.
I love when
There are
2 games in a series are like.
Yeah, and I like the cast of 1 more.
Dunban.
But yeah.
What was the Wii U one really quick? Sorry.
X.
That's X.
Is
That's
that in
separate.
this?
As far as I understand, there's
Okay.
from what I played, there's nothing. There's only like maybe a mechanic that's related to it.
But, like,
story-wise, I have
story-wise?
not. Like maybe other people who are further or catch on better have picked up on stuff, but like so far it's more 1-2 than anything to do with like X.
Cool.
Yeah, like just the dialogue, the banter, because you have these 6 characters who you meet you start with the 3 characters. So there's the world basically, to put in perspective, there's these 2 factions. There's Kevis and there's Agnes.
Like the big turtle.
And
thing.
like what?
Isn't there like a big walking like turtle?
Titans kind of things?
Yeah.
Well, they're not really going with that just yet.
Yeah.
Like they haven't
But
like
those have been
shown
in
anything.
previous things,
Yeah,
stuff
those
like
have been
that.
the previous things.
That's
but,
like my full knowledge of Xenoblade right there.
So
giant.
Let me be more general for you, Hubert, because you'll understand this. So basically, these soldiers, they're born and bred for war, and
Hell yeah,
they have a
dude.
10-year life.
Clouds.
They have a 10-year lifespan. So everyone on each side only lives for 10 years, and if you make it to your 10th year, you get this ceremony in front of like the queen of your country, and like it's like a sending off. Like it's like you just like turn into like these like beautiful particles or whatever, and you like float off. It like it looks like firefly stuff. Like fireflies just like scattering.
Love
but like
that.
everyone thinks of like, oh, this is great. It's the greatest honor. And so each
You're
side
really going to like some hell dimension.
I have no idea about that, Heber. But they live to fight. From the very moment they're born, they're basically like grown in like these, like they show a cutscene where like they're just like grown and they come out like looking like, a little kid, like a kid, and like they're ready to fight though. Like
Dude,
they
I
get trained.
love this.
everyone's fighting because they need their life energy. They're harvested by their colonies. Their colonies are these giant mobilized mechs that suck in their life force.
Cool.
And the winning side, they just like take them. And like the opening cutscenes is a big battle. And like the victor who emerges at the end, they just show like the machines. It's like plowing over like the dead bodies. Like they don't care. Like it's like all it is fighting for survival. That's all they know. They don't but the main character, he is
what's his name?
Noah.
Noah?
An off-seer. He plays a flute, kind of like Yuna in Final Fantasy X, where they send the departed souls.
Jolly.
He witnesses it at the 10th year ceremony. It's called a homecoming.
Yeah.
The group of like percussionists just play and send this person off, when their 10th year happens. Yeah. So he does it for fallen people. And like even his comrades are like, why do you do that for the enemy, man? Like, but he, like, you could tell there's more to it. And
Can you play that instrument anytime you want?
So there is a mechanic in the game. So it's not like a Zelda thing where you can play it manually. In the overworld map, you'll come across husks of fallen soldiers and you can just send them off, and it builds your affinity with the nearby like colonies. Excellent. It actually plays into it, so it's encouraging.
Did you ever find a really hidden corpse that you played?
So there's some hard to reach ones because how the map works.
Nice.
It'll show you it, but like you have to like see like judge topography. So when you get there, you'll be like, holy crap! Like I'm at the spot, but like it's not here. Oh, there's something way above me. How do I get up there? So it's one of the many things they do to dangle the carrot for you to go out and explore in the game. And I was a little bit concerned in the beginning because it's a little bit linear. The game kind of ushers you a little bit to go to places. Like I actually felt a little frustrated trying to go off the beaten path. It felt like I wasn't really supposed to be fighting extra stuff in the beginning because it felt a little bit more difficult. I understood why. You don't have your complete party. When you finally have, like, early in the game when you get your party, you have 6 people. So early on you're only 3 and you're trying to fight these monsters, you're incomplete. So like the game's like, no, please just go to the next story point. Got it. And once I caught on to that and moved on, I'm like, okay, I'm unlocking this stuff. They do a pretty good job with the tutorials this time. It wasn't like 2 where I felt a lot of lost confused. Not only do they take their time to explain things, and they do it like piecemeal very slowly over a course of like about 3 or 4 hours. They like slowly introduce each new thing. They have a story reason behind everything. There's like a dialogue banter about like how this makes sense within the world, like why this like job changing and stuff. Like they have these irises, their eyes that see data because they're linked to like a network, and they can see job icons above their heads. Like, oh, so like, well, what happens when I do this? Because they gain extra abilities they're not supposed to have. That's like a story point. They like try some option in their like little like iris system, and like they copy the other person's job. It's like, whoa! Now, and like in their mind, like goes into like their mind's eye, like they see like the job how it works, and it's like, I now know how to do what you do and stuff. So it's like that's how job changing works. Yeah. So like they have stuff like that, and then on top of that, they have a training menu where you can go back and do any lesson over again and like understand it. They have like highlighted icons that like click this, please, like click that. So like the first time you're doing everything, it like is trying to accentuate it very distinctly so you don't miss anything. So I appreciate that a lot.
I remember 2 was very confusing. And I felt like I was missing something like a long time in that game where I had to like go outside the game to look at how to do something.
I had to watch 2 YouTube videos to understand the battle system.
It's really good they address that. Because it's like I've played many RPGs and I feel like confidently that I can understand a system pretty decently. So it's nice that they've addressed that.
It does open, the concern I was saying, like eventually after like a few hours, it does open up. And like,
of course.
One of the first major areas is a desert area, like a canyon desert area. And once you get past it like the story is telling you to go to this one place, and it looks like it's going towards like a lush like plains on like a mountain range area. I went left into an even like more like white sands desert area. Like the story's like, you don't need to go here. I'm like, was able to go almost everywhere there, and like had like exploring, came across stuff. I was like, this is why I like Xenoblade. I'm glad, because I went a different way, and it kind of was like, oh, this is a super high level enemy area, and I was like, crap, are all the optional areas going to be like where I'm not supposed to go? But by the way, went to high level areas anyway, sneaking around doing the MMO thing. Where it's like, I want to see what I can see.
I feel like that is one of your defining gaming characteristics, Damiani, where like you want to see and fight the highest level stuff.
I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight, though. I just want to see the area.
I feel like sometimes, like that too, but I feel like sometimes you'll get into a fight and you're like, I'm not stopping until I beat this character.
No,
I'm not backing down.
Maybe that's true for some games, but in Xenoblade, it's painfully obvious if you come across something you have no chance.
It's very painful.
It's like you can come close or it's gonna like curb stomp you, like one shot you basically. And like I think there was an enemy like maybe 5 or 6 levels above me, and it was still like very clear you're not beating an enemy. But yeah, they have like stuff like challenging enemies. Like there's normal enemies around your level, and then they have like 2 levels of elites. Like there's like blue wings icons around something that's like a little bit more of an elite mark, and then they have like burning red ones around stuff that's like it's like almost like this is like a real boss, like an open world boss type thing.
Sick. Damiani, the thing I'm most curious about this game is, so I guess the series is known for huge environments, kind of.
Oh God, here we go.
How much better do you think navigating the world is compared to the other two?
So you have an option to put on a Pathfinder.
Okay.
If you want, like you set any quest as your active quest, and it will like illuminate a line to it. They do warn you though that sometimes like there might be obstacles in your way. So even though the line's telling you to go this way, you might need to go up and above or down below. Like it's just like a bird's eye.
Do you remember if Definitive Edition or whatever the remake of Xenoblade 1 had something like that? I'm trying to remember.
No, I totally forget.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
But like they include this option.
Okay,
it's nothing new to games, but
right,
like they do have that in there. But you can just turn it off if you want. If you just want
What's
to like
the default setting?
it's off. It gives you an option like, would you like to turn this on in the game tutorial when you get to that part? I turn it on just to see what it was like, and I'm like, okay, it's there. But like, I largely ignore it a lot. Like, I'm like, all right, I know if I'm done like an hour or two of extracurricular stuff, I'm like, all right, now I want to go back to the main quest. Like, where was I? Oh, it's on this way. Okay, I'm on this path. Let me just get back on the path, and then I feel like I don't get lost that way.
For all the shit we talk on Assassin's Creed, I do like the exploration versus guided mode. I really like exploration mode where it's like it'll give you clues. It'll be like, yo, on the west coast of this country, find the place, and then like it'll point you in the right direction. Granted, the game is so long that after like 30, 40, 50 hours, that stuff gets tiring. But I appreciate being able to like flip on the waypoints.
I think
this stuff was in Definitive, just like the quest tracking was added, and I believe it was in 2 or at least Torna, it was in there. But like a lot of this stuff is like basically, I mean, I was going to talk a little bit more about the battle system, but like, it's taking the best of the previous games in both the like combat systems and everything, and like kind of coming to like a new like kind of happy medium.
Do you get anything new to navigate this world that weren't in the other 2 games?
So far, I mean, I was hoping I thought I was at a point where I might get a mech, but like that did not come to pass. But not yet. I'm like, I don't know yet. I'm like, I was like, please. But skills, like not quite Metroid level, but I just
hold on.
A few hours ago.
Before we get into skills, I remember in Xenoblade 2.
This is a basic skill.
Okay, there was skill checks for certain things to get past like a door or something like that. You would have to do a skill check.
Oh,
and I remember I absolutely hated it.
I haven't come across anything like that.
Okay.
This is more like, this is a few hours ago, I got the ability to climb vines.
Oh, okay.
So there's clearly things I've seen in the environment. Like this looks like a traversal thing, but I can't use. Like there's like a zip wire thing. I'm like, can I use this? Is this like? And there's like on the map, there's like a yellow line going somewhere. Like, oh, what am I gonna do with this? And as I progress, it's like, like the first one you get is like climbing vines. All these purple vines I've seen in other zones. I'm like,
now climb.
It's warned.
That's cool.
Love this. Character dialogue will just tell you if you're wasting your time with something. Like I even found like a hidden like item, and I was like, it's on this ledge. Like, how do I get there? And the character's like, it's so close, but so far it doesn't look like there's any way we can get to it right now. So it's like, thank you for doing stuff like that. And it was true. Later on, I was like, came through a different path. I went up there. I was like, okay, this they clearly took a lot of the feedback from the previous games.
I think the Xenoblade series is one of the most impressive technically advanced Switch games, I would say, especially in the scope of how this game is going and how big things are compared to a lot of other Switch games, how well I would say it ran in the past. How's it running this time around?
Mostly well, very impressive. You zoom out, have a lot of stuff. Obviously, it there's some frame rate dips.
Of course,
but
yeah.
It happens every now and then, but and they do like the draw distance thing. They do like the lower detail models.
Yeah,
and
I
like,
get.
like lower animation stuff.
Yeah,
Like all those tricks are in play, but like the amount of stuff that's on screen,
impressive,
and how far out you can zoom with the camera. It's actually pretty I think it's the best looking of the three usually, and especially when they get into like certain like sequences, like more like the boss fights or just reaching like a new colony environment, and they obviously put a little bit more effort into those. Like there are parts that look like really good. I'm like, oh man, this actually, I wish the whole game could look this good. And there's parts where it's like doing a lot of things, like giant open environment. It's like it's okay, I get it. Like it's doing its best, but like it looks
cool.
Yeah, like just the variety of the environments too. Like they're doing. There are a lot of parts that still like, wow, that's a really cool looking thing, or like that looks really nice.
Yeah, even when I played Xenoblade 1, the remake, some of the areas I was like, damn, this looks pretty nice still.
Yeah, like the landmarks return. There these hidden areas that they can become like a warp point, but like they give you a ton of bonus experience. One of them was like in the edge of this map and went to a cave. It was like this like glowing blue pond. It like looks with these like kind of like particle effects coming out of it, and it was like super dark, so it was like illuminating the cave, and like it had its own music when you got in there. I was like, by the way,
I'm sure the music is fantastic.
the first major boss battle,
Damn, I gotta
multiple phases. The music when it kicks in at the beginning is just like, okay, they're not effing around with this soundtrack. Like
okay.
they brought out the best of the best for this. I was like,
Damiani, I'm invested. One of the most this year in soundtracks. There have been a few games where I'm like obsessed. So I gotta listen to this. This is the best you've heard this year. This is your number one, probably.
So I mean, it's very impressive so far.
Nice.
I mean, the original stuff, like it's just like the sheer epicness of it. It's like it felt like when I play a major Final Fantasy game when they do those like the big boss battles because they put all their effort into the music like for that, and it's like. But even just the menu music, just like this like nice soothing with synth like stuff going
games
on.
Have really good music.
The nighttime themes, like the piano themes, are so good. Some of the battle themes are like this the default one, and then there's a zone I went to I wasn't supposed to go yet, and like it was clearly a different version of a previous game's song, and I was like, which might be, it was maybe hinting me a little bit too much. I was like, okay, maybe I should leave because like, should I be seeing this yet? But I was like, I didn't want to leave because like, dude, I like this song. This is one of my favorite songs. I want to hear it more. It's like they're working those like those older themes a little bit into some of the music as well here, and it's really good.
Before we get into combat, a few questions.
Sure.
This one Mike will appreciate. Towns.
Oh, the colonies are the towns, and I would say every few hours. So there's a gap in the beginning. You start off in one, and then there's like a gap where you're kind of on the road, like on the run, and then you come across like your first major one, and something happens, and then like now you're friendly with them. From that moment on, it's like every few hours you can come across one, and they all have like their major story points. And bonds, Huber, because you have an affinity meter with them.
With each town?
With each of these towns, all the NPCs, there's all the quests you do, all the surrounding area, all the things like sending off the soldiers, like the dead soldiers. It builds affinity with them, and it's like 5 ranks, and like. They're in the game's lore, colonies have ranks. They start off as dust. I think it's dust, tin, iron, steel, bronze, silver, gold is the highest. But like, and like they unlock more perks and stuff like that. Get more benefits as you rank them up. Nice. And you like can listen in on conversations, and then when you go to a resting point, you can talk with your party members about what you heard, and sometimes it unlocks a new quest line for you.
Shit.
It's not new. They've done this before. They're bringing it back. Or if you heard something, you get like bonus experience as well.
Is there a casino?
Not that I have seen so far.
Got it.
He's probably got a ways to go still.
Yeah, there might. I mean,
was there a casino in the other ones or no?
I don't remember.
I'm just thinking of Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest.
Remember
staples.
Casino?
Yeah, I can't remember.
But I know it's not Bally, but like systems as well. Like they brought back like gem crafting, but like instead of the weird thing,
I remember.
It's literally just a menu of like 4 columns or 5 columns of different types of gems, and it's very simple. It's very self-explanatory, and it's like not complicated, and they don't. And like there's auto equip thing too. Like
just equip best gear you have.
yeah, if you want, you can do that. I mean, you might want to like mess around a little bit more,
Yeah.
but like it'll give you something that's competent at least. I don't want to go like any further because like it might tie into the combat when we get into it. But like, yeah, they got like this like cosmetic stuff, like changing outfits.
Oh right, yeah.
Like you get dirty as you progress, and like you can wash your clothes at
cool.
like a resting spot, so you look like nice and clean.
That's
and
cool.
everything.
Little things, dude. Little shit like that. I love. It sounds so dumb and trivial, but I love little things like that.
I remember
Cook meals.
Yeah.
And you sit and eat them. And they might not look Final Fantasy 15 good, but they look edible. First one was like a burrito. I was like, dude, I can tell it's a burrito, dude. Switch looking good.
Switch burrito.
Switch burrito.
Switch burrito, dude.
Tell me about. So I remember the previous games had many of these, and they were just kind of whatever side quests.
So they kind of streamlined some of it. And there's not a lot of fetch quests in terms of like go out and get like items. Those, how that works now is each colony has like they in the lore there's like an internet basically with like post requests for items.
Okay.
As you come across the items and get them, you can go into the menu and they'll just have a list of all these people who are looking for stuff. And it'll just tell you you've collected all of them.
Okay.
And once it gives the icon they're filled, you just submit the items remotely.
So you don't have to go like
you don't
necessarily
have
talk
to go
to someone.
I mean, you
Sometimes maybe,
there
but
are some quests where it's like I need you to like get 3 things, but like it's a little bit more story focused. When you go there's like a cut scene.
Yeah.
There might be a fight.
Okay.
But like there hasn't been a lot of remedial. Just go here, pick up this item, come right back.
Okay.
That's relegated to its own kind of like subsystem.
they seem worth it so far to do.
They give you a good amount of experience.
Okay, that's worth it in my
They
opinion.
give you there's no gear. It's accessories that you equip. So like you don't change your armor. I mean you can change your appearance, but like there's
Yeah,
no
you're not
like
getting
headpiece, chest piece,
yeah.
anything like that. It's literally accessory slots, and you can have up to 3 that you can unlock. A lot of this is like it's all gated behind your level. After you hit certain level milestones, you unlock more slots for
Okay,
certain
cool.
things.
I like that.
Damiani, I think I quit so many JRPGs because it takes so long to get invested into the main storyline in a lot of these games. And I always find myself, the way I play games is do all the side quests first, explore, be very thorough, but then I burn myself out before the story can like fully grab me, and then I quit. So my question is, how are the stories of the side quests? Do they get you invested in the world and the people, or are they just standard filler or whatever? You don't even care.
I mean, the side quests just help you understand relationships between the colony members. They're not really the main focus.
Yeah.
They're more about like serving, like building up like the systems to improve like your progress to the game. But they do like for example, one of the like earlier ones, there's like a commander who's like kind of like an absent-minded like mechanic.
Okay.
And he's supposed to be like the leader of this colony, but like he really delegates everything to another guy who gets angry at him because like you don't really do anything, but like you do a quest line with them and like you help out because like he's like, can you just like help me out by like giving people stuff to do and like making my
Nice.
job easier? So like you get a little bit of a tiny bit of character development there for like these smaller characters.
Yeah.
But like the main cast is like everything with them is like main story.
Yeah.
I thought you could
Yeah.
ask a different question about like how long does it take for you to like get captivated by the story, and does like it like fall to the wayside if you
Yeah.
like meander too much? This is probably one of the fastest, I think,
Nice.
to be hooked in. They all have like twists at the beginning of their games. Like, I mean, the first one, it's like death of a major character within like the first few hours, and it's
Sure.
like time to go set out on this adventure. But after that part, it kind of like meanders. This is like, oh man, like we like same like there's a big twist that happens, but you're kind of like on the run, and like the world is
I like
against
that
you.
premise. That's a cool premise.
But
for
meanwhile,
sure,
like
straight off.
your own party is like you gotta like reconcile your own party. 3 and 3, you're from opposite worlds and
Yeah.
stuff. So like you hate each other
That's
at
cool,
first.
too.
So it's like how are you getting to understand each other in the slow process of like we need to become comrades, not just to survive, but like we're really not that different. Like they start to realize, man, our worlds are the same. We're the same. Like why were we even fighting each other? So you've got that surface level kind of like characterization, but you got like they throw something major at you by like hour 5, and it's like, I'm in. It's like, dude, this is Brad bait right here. The freaking Organization 13.
Yeah, dude.
They have like, so they got these dudes in like Keyblade armor meeting up in like a movie theater, like some like not movie theater, but like a play theater, a playhouse or something. I don't know what's going on, man. It's so weird. Little spotlights come on them. Like they're like Men in Black style, calling yourself like KJ, like they, like first letters, names, no names or whatever, and like they're so mysterious and shit. And then like one of them shows up and it's like they call him Mobius or something, and he turns into like, it's in the trailer, like the giant monster mech or whatever. Cool. Then you get your Ouroboros mech and like this epic. It's like, dude, let's go. And like, they're a Kotsky style, dude, with their personality. It's just like they got like the next one's like kind of like a Joker dude. He's like, let me go do it. Like I have the honor to go. And like, yeah, there's the serious one, and each of their masks is like, one's got like a bird eagle face, one's got like Medusa like snake head, but it's like it's a helmet, so it's like static. Yeah. And like I have no idea what's going on with them, other than like they're supposedly like the gatekeepers of the world. The Asians. And like I won't say any more than that to avoid spoilers, but like there's something going on with them, and you do get a first-hand look at one of them within like the first 10 hours of the game, 5 hours of the game, and it's like, okay, well, what's going on here?
What's
like,
going on?
What's the story here?
Sick.
Yeah.
Good mystery.
Mysteries, man.
Sounds like a good mystery and premise.
Tell me about the combat. What's the new hook this time around?
These are like 6 party members, sometimes 7 party members, fighting all at once in a battle, and it seems chaotic, but here's how it works. You control one character at a time. You can freely switch between any character at any time.
Like 7 Remake style?
Yeah, it is instant switches you to that character's perspective. So that's actually pretty impressive. Yeah. That you can switch between the 6 of them. Each character starts off with like a base class. There's DPS, tank, and their healer, and there's like variations of them. Eventually, it goes Final Fantasy V job system style, where like you can switch to a different job, and as you master them, you gain master skills, which then you permanently can keep, and you can equip them. Like, so basically, you have like your gem slot spots, and then you have your accessory slots.
You learn.
Then you have your arts, which are like been since Xenoblade 1, like the one of the like face buttons you push, it does like, oh, here's like your side attack or attacks, But then on that you have like you have master arts as well, and then you have like latent abilities, and all this you can like equip more and more of this as you play more of the jobs. And it starts off with like a basic set, but then those 7th characters are called heroes, and they're with you temporarily for like a chapter or so, and initially they form a bond with a certain character, and that character then gets access to that job. Nice. And eventually other characters can get access to it as well. And like the first one you get is like a special type of DPS class, like a dual sword wielding class, which is pretty cool. Next one's like a special type of medic class. Okay. And like after you unlock like the first one, like it shows you like the class menu, it like silhouettes like a ton of them.
Oh my god.
So there are a lot of jobs that you're going to be able to switch between, and each have like special things, so you want to mix and match. But the thing is, you got to keep balance. Like, you don't want to go all deep. I mean, maybe you do, but like I always like having 2 healers, 2 tanks, and 2 DPS at any time, because sometimes the battles are not just 6 versus 1. It's like you got multiple mobs fighting you. Having that extra tank in there really helps with like crowd management. But it's not as simple as, so Xenoblade 1 was like a hot bar, a horizontal hotbar of skills, like I think 6 or 7 skills, and it was all the games have a system of where you want to inflict a certain type of attack where you basically like it's like topple, like
stagger,
like knock, like it's knock down, topple, then you can like daze, and you can like launch, and then like you have abilities that can like cap, like the more further along on those debuffs you get them, the more damage they take. Like one of your characters has like a slam move, so if you like they're in the launch state, the enemy like they spin. It's like I love how they kept the ridiculous super fast spinning animation. It's like so goofy. But then like the first new DPS class, it's a powered up special attack is a smash attack, a slam attack, which does like the most damage when they like launch, which is so sick to see. So you have like that from Xenoblade 1. That's like kind of like your right side for some characters. So the one legion of the characters, the faction, the 3, They're kind of like derivative from Xenoblade 1's battle system.
Oh.
The other side is kind of
2?
derivative from 2, which is those diamond-shaped ones where they fill up with each auto. So one set of cooldowns always fills up continuously no matter what you're doing. The other set only fills up when you land auto attacks. Now, eventually, those combine. Your left side or right side is one or the other. And if they both fill up, they're both filled up at the same time, corresponding buttons, you can do a fusion attack where you fuse them together. Yeah.
That's sick. So like a dual tech.
I mean, dude, that's what the Ouroboros is. The Ouroboros is fusion ha. Like, so the mech thing I was talking about, where they turn into mechs, each character has a partner, and they only fuse with them. And how that works is once you combine into it, your hotbar changes to do like those types of like mech attacks, but it's like a heat gauge that's building up, and you don't want to overheat. If you overheat, you get locked out of it for a long time. But if you come out of it, it will cool down faster, and you can get back into it. But like, not only is it super powerful, like it's a get out of jail card too, because like you take damage, but like you're not really taking damage. So like your character's about to die, maybe your partner or whatever, hop into it, buy some time or whatever. Like, hey, I need to
cool mechanic.
You do this while I switch over to some other characters, because jumping between characters, while it's like impressive, you can do it. Sometimes it's a little like. It takes a little bit more time to like switch over to one because you have to cycle through.
Yeah.
I kind of wish there was a way to like maybe jump fast. Maybe I missed it. I'll be fair. There's a lot of systems in here.
Yeah.
In fact, I missed out on the changing character thing for about like an hour.
Love that.
In the overworld, I knew I could do it, but like I misread something and thought it was waiting to unlock the character thing. But then I asked someone, I was like, can I change? I feel like I should be able to change characters now if I can do it in the one. I'm like, yeah, you can. I'm like, oh shit, I must have missed that. And so I totally fair. There might be a way to faster switch to another character besides cycling through them. But if not, I that's one thing I wish they would address.
Yeah.
The other big thing about battles, real quick, is in large scale, like multiple mob battles. Xenoblade has always been a game about aggro management. They do a lot about like. It's very easy for you to rip hate off your tank. It's very like a thing you have to put a lot of focus in. My issue is with multiple enemies, I need some kind of aggro table to tell me which enemy is about to be ripped off, so I don't waste. Maybe I have enough.
Hoping like
so like let's say there's three.
Scheme, maybe.
Yeah. So say there's 3 enemies, and I clearly have established hate, like a large hate lead on 2 of them. But the third one I don't, but I don't know that, and it's about to be ripped off. Now there's dialogue. The banter is not all just like gimmicky one-liners. Some of it is informational. Like a tank will say, "Oh no, I lost sight of that one," which means it broke away.
Yeah.
And then, like the color-coded line will show from blue to red, which means
it's targeting that thing.
Yeah, they do have a color-coded like targeting system to show you like that one needs to be brought back.
But you prefer if they like showed their
I would like to preemptively do something about that.
Yeah,
like
so
it's
you
just
can tell
something.
if it's
it's just something they've never done, and I wish. I mean, it's probably
Lean
not what
into
they're
that
going
MMO vibe, you know?
Yeah, maybe they don't want to lean too heavily into that, but those are like the 2 small things right now. Is just like. But I think I've done enough now where aggro management doesn't really even become a problem anymore because I don't play I don't even play the tank. I've been going like healer tank DPS role. I've been leaning into.
I like not having 100% maximum control when your NPCs are like, you know, if your NPC is tanking it, like. Whatever happens, kind of.
To be fair, in early goings, like it would be like you took on too many enemies, dude. It's chaotic, dude. Like things are going to hell. Run away. Like I get what they're going for. It's like you bit off more than you can chew. Back off, man. Like like they do have a mechanic where you can like. Try in a group of enemies, you just want to ping one of them over. You can like throw something, grab its attention.
Throw a rock at them.
Yeah, it's literally throwing a rock, and you bring them over, and it's like yes, you can do this. The game does have these mechanics to support that, so it's giving you a lot of tools to work around that. It's just maybe in the early goings, I would have preferred it. Sorry, you had a question though.
Oh, can you customize the mech?
So it's not necessarily a mech. It is a mech, but like literally the first mech looks like Angel 1 or whatever, the Shinji's angel from fucking
from
Evangelion, just colored differently. It literally looks like that. You don't, you can upgrade abilities, but in terms of physical appearance, I haven't come across anything that changes it. Your characters, though, take on the appearance of the job class they're on.
Nice.
But later you do get a glamour transmog system, where any class you've mastered, you can choose to wear that outfit instead.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
How competent is the AI of your companions?
I think it's pretty good. There's the only small issue at the beginning was your tactician / medic can place area of effect fields for healing, like defense up or like attack up. And this is where I was like, when I finally like asked someone was like, "Can I change party members?" Because they were placing them not the most opportune, like especially the attack up. I'm like, I have to do rear and side positionals because there are positionals in this game for some of your attacks to get like more like the chance to do more damage. And I'm like, can you just place the damn attack thing like overlapping the mob or something so I can like stand at the side, and then like, oh, I can just take over them and place it myself. But like, actually, is like as where I'm at now, it feels like they're pretty good about it. And I've learned now it's like stay in the attack field, and when you need to go get a positional, swing out real quick to do it, go right back in. You don't like being in front is not bad. Like I'm sorry, so many MMOs teach you being in front of a mob is like the worst thing to be because it'll cleave you. But like they either have auto attacks on a single target or they have an AoE attack. There's no cleave attack, so like it's an auto that cleaves or something like that. So I think the AI is pretty.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I think they did a better job with this one.
Damn. I don't know. This game sounds really good. I didn't know about this job system. Like, that's how you get me.
Yeah, that's how you get Brad.
The icons for it, like little chibi anime art for them.
Right?
Yeah,
I know you
I beat the first two.
Two, right?
Yeah, I beat both. Sorry, I don't know if you said this earlier. So when you're leveling up your job, do you get like a skill that you could carry over to another job?
So yeah, that's what I was talking about. So there's your individual level, which you level up at the campsites. You cash in your experience, and then you gain your levels.
Oh, wait, do you level up at a campsite?
Yeah, there's like bonus experience and stuff that you could like cash in, and like you'll jump a lot of levels when you do that. Then jobs have ranks, rank 1 through rank 10. Rank 10 means you've mastered it.
Yes.
There's something later in the game. It does tell you up front when you get the job system that later on you'll be able to go beyond rank 10.
Damn.
Eventually, but once you hit rank 10 in like the early portions of the game,
move to the next one.
It'll even prompt you. It's like there's like a message that flashes in the side of the screen, but when you go to the character menu and you go to your character, it'll be like it's really nice. They put up a message like, "Hey, this character's max rank. It would be like behoove you to change to a different rank and like get stop wasting because you're not accumulating any more rank points. Once you get to rank 10, you get a master skill." That can you can equip that forever in your master skill slot. So like, let's say I get like an aggro, like I want to like an aggro, like a provoke or taunt type of play, and I go to healer for whatever reason. Like, I just want to be able to like use that. So like, cool, because I can put down a bunch of fields on me. I'm just giving you a random example. This is not. I don't think this is actually in the game, but like. There are aggro shedding ones. Those are the useful ones. Like when you're high DPS or you're doing a lot of healing. One of the master skills is aggro shedding, and I'm like, dude, that's like,
really good.
You want that?
That's
like,
really good. Yeah.
Then there's like buff ones as well. Like you'll mix and match, and some of the more advanced ones are like pretty good.
Cool. Damn, I can't wait to play this game. I'm really excited about this mech thing you've been talking to me about, like job system and mechs, Ouroboros, and like. Hell yes, Damiani.
A lot of good stuff.
A couple people wrote in about a few questions for this game, Damiani. Cathal Fallon said, "How cozy is Xenoblade 3? I found Xenoblade 2 to be really relaxing when I was sick or when it was snowing outside." I remember these games being pretty comfy sometimes. Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, there are Nopons in the game. You have an accompanying Nopon
Love the
with you, and then you
yes.
get a Nopon team. You get Manana.
Nopon.
Those little fluffy little like.
They're like
cute
the
egg,
mascots, I would say, almost.
They look like those Sonic things or whatever.
Chows?
What are the other? Maybe no, Klonoas. They got Klonoa heads with like, egg-shaped body.
Sure.
Like Manana's and Riku are the two you have at first. Manana's like a chef. Riku's like an engineer. Riku helps you with the gem creations. Manana cooks you the meals. Yep. So like camping sites are pretty cozy. But the game starts off, it's like pretty like high strung though at the beginning. Like it's like this world, it's like dark.
These games have some dark stuff in them.
Like the world is pretty crappy. Like your life is pretty crappy. You get some flashbacks to like what happened to some of like your earlier friends. It's like not good stuff happened in your past, and it's like everyone's carrying baggage, and it's like, and even as like you've like start to like lift the veil from certain characters, not everyone fully accepts like what you're peddling. You're like, there's an early scene where like a guy's like, This is like something of my friend. You like your side killed him last week or whatever. It's like they put a bullet right in his head and he like puts his like hand like right on like finger right in like the character's forehead. It's like but then like immediately after another character's like, hey, you saved us and stuff. So like here's extra food and stuff because like not everyone like is gonna think like that. So like it has.
I guess if you found too jolly, you could find jolliness in
I
this.
haven't come across anything like the No Pawn Village yet. That was the most jolly thing in Xenoblade, honestly.
That is jolly.
I would like to, I want that moment where I come across like a No Pawn Village,
This is from Jason Wagner. Brief question. Do I really need to play Xenoblade 2 before 3? Playing through 1 now and I love it, but don't want to jump into 2 right away because of burnout. Thinking of just jumping to 3 when I'm ready for another huge JRPG, which is only like once a year at this point in my life. Maybe it's hard for you to tell because
I don't know about I don't know about the full game in terms of like especially the payoff. There are definitely 2 things that have been in the trailer that on a surface level appear to be one appears to be a character from 1 and one appears to be a character from 2, or at least the imagery is heavily hinting at that. So I don't know. And there's like the world itself looks like a little bit of a fusion. I just said like the battle systems are fusion, like even music themes are kind of like trickling in. So I don't know if it goes beyond that. I mean, there's something else in there too that's like kind of a nod, I think, to future connected, or maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I can't definitively say, but at least through the first couple of like dozens of like, you know, like
hasn't seemed like it yet.
Yeah, like first like 20 or so hours, you don't need to.
Okay.
And honestly, even with going from 1 to 2, literally only the ending of 2, like something in the ending of 2, a very specific few lines of dialogue in a cutscene where like the only connection between the two. Like, you did not suffer any enjoyment of 2 by not having played 1.
True, because I played 2 before I finished 1.
And I have a feeling that, like, while there might be a little bit more payoff for knowing stuff about 1 and 2 possibly, I think the majority of the game, and Nintendo's MO, they don't like you having to rely so heavily on past games to fully enjoy the new one. So I'm going to guess you probably can just jump into it, and you'll probably have a great time. Yeah.
Huber.
Yo.
Talk to me. Okay, you've been playing this game for a while, a couple weeks. Getting random screenshots from you and our other friend Grumbomb playing this also.
Oh, it's been months.
Yeah, I guess it has been months. Talk to me about Red Dead Redemption 2. One of your all-time favorites. With, I would say you said probably your favorite character of all time now.
Yeah, full confession. Arthur Morgan is my favorite video game character of all time. No question. Wow. It's not even a hesitation anymore. Like,
I mean, it's like I could easily see that.
Definitively the greatest video game character of all time. I'm big on replaying video games, and I feel like your second playthrough of a game, you learn so much. Because you don't have the baggage of the noise when a game comes out. You don't have like the unknown, trying to piece everything together, learning the controls. Like, there's so much you just don't have to worry about right up front. So you can pour all that energy into like other things. So this is only my second playthrough of this game. Beat it obviously right when it came out, like obsessed. But just with everything that's going on with GTA and everything, I was waiting for like the perfect moment to go back to this game. I had been craving it for so long, and I was like, dude, I gotta wait. You know, I gotta wait for like a next gen patch. You know, all these other devs out there just patching their games for free. Thank you, Forza, or not for. I've almost said Forza Unleashed. Fallen Order.
Fallen Order, yeah.
Thanks a lot, Fallen Order. Appreciate that. And, you know, even the old Assassin's Creed games, dude. I saw like Origins, Odyssey, 60 frames, like not with Red Dead. None of that. No. So I was waiting for so long, and then finally I couldn't wait any longer. And it actually all worked out for the best, because I legitimately started my playthrough 2 weeks later. Rockstar is like, GTA Online or Red Dead Online is done. We are not remaking the first game. We are not patching or doing anything with Red Dead 2. We are all in on GTA 6. So I was like, all right, I guess I went back to this game at the absolute perfect time. Holy fuck. I mean, it's hard to talk about this game because like everything's already been said about it.
Yeah, that was like 4 years ago, though.
Exactly. Here we are 4 years later, and I can comfortably say that this is easily one of the best video games ever made for a few reasons. One is the writing.
Yes.
The writing in this game. We always talk about like characters and story, and you know, GTA writing gets brought up a lot of the time, you know, whether it's like mature or not. Like Red Dead 2 is an epic masterpiece. All of these characters have fully realized lives. This entire gang you are rolling with, it's like they are real people in this world. So the writing and the voice acting, I think, are Rockstar's best. Obviously, this can all be debated till the end of time. You know, your favorite GTA, your favorite game, your favorite Rockstar. I really, truly believe in my heart and my soul that Red Dead 2 has two of the greatest things Rockstar has ever done. That is writing, and the other are the missions. Just replayed through the definitive edition of all those GTAs. Replayed through 5 a few years ago, so it's pretty fresh. Haven't played 4 in a minute.
Right.
But so many Rockstar missions, and even Red Dead 2 does this often, so many of these missions end in a big shootout, you know? Just like go in, guns blazing, whatever. But there are, I think I'm up to like 80, 90, 100 missions now. I'm almost done with the game. I'm very, 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 very far. And all of these, like out of 100 missions, like there are so many when you're doing a one-off thing one time in the game and then you just don't do it again. Like you go out into the swamps looking for like gator traps and all this. You round up some cattle. Like the missions themselves are like you rob a bank. You don't really do that often. Or you rob a train. Or you go to the bar with Lenny. Like there are so many incredible moments. And another thing I realized, you know, something I really wanted to tap into is the current onslaught of a volume of good games. There are so many good games. Everything is moving so fast. Boom, 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 boom. Games all the time. Movies all the time. TV shows all the time. Pop culture is just like one big, massive thing and a backlog bearing down on all of us, right? So it's like everyone is so busy to commit to the games they want to play or the games that everybody else is playing or the movies and shows everyone's talking about. And Red Dead 2 is a game that pretty much demands time and commitment and patience. This is a long, slow game that you cannot rush through. Just exploring the open world, coming across. Also, we talk about these scripted missions, some of the best in the biz. These non-scripted moments that you get in where you're just like stumbling into town and, you know, maybe a scripted NPC will come out, but then that will lead to like a lot of different possibilities. Like you'll go into a store and you'll dynamically like hold someone hostage and that'll lead to something. Like all these things I've discovered that I never knew the first time. It's been one of the best replays of a game in my entire life.
You said this and I agree with you. Red Dead 2 is not a game you rush.
Yes.
It's a lot of the game is about the small moments and slow things.
Enjoying those moments.
Do you think maybe Now, we like this. Do you think maybe it indulges too much in that for most people?
Sure, it's not for everybody. Patience is eroding in society, I feel like.
Yeah.
People don't like drawn out things as much as maybe they used to. I will say that you can mainline it still. I don't obviously play how you want to play. I love that motto, of course. That's our motto forever. But I would highly encourage not to speed run through the main quests. Like, this is a game where legit, like, I RP this. This is a game where you fucking RP the entire time. I will roll into town, get a shot at the bar, have a meal, go see a movie, take a bath, and go to bed. Wake up the next day, change your clothes. Like, the game is not asking you to do that, but it is so immersive. There's so much detail that, like, you can't help yourself. You just get caught up in this world because it's just so authentic and real.
Yeah. I like games that capture you that much, Hubert. It's good to hear that because it's like...
Have you played this?
So I've only played a little bit of Red Dead, but like the feeling of like wanting to savor stuff, especially like on a replay.
Dude.
And like, I don't know if this is the same thing, but like, I feel it speaks to like that's how much of a strong like bond you have with the game. But like for me... A Link to the Past. On certain replays, I don't do this as much anymore, but like I used to when I would do a replay of it, like want to like slowly enjoy it. It's like, man, like this game to death and stuff. You're like, yeah, you could like crit path this, but it's like, no, I want to do this like in kind of like in chapters. Like I think of like a TV show. It's like, like I my imagination takes over a little bit. Yeah, there's only like a few scant lines of dialogue, but it's like no, like the first mission where like the church elder and like you save Zelda. It's like the conversation he has. Like it's like you go to the town. Like I gotta walk around the town a little bit. Talk to all the NPCs. Like pretend like a night. Like there's no day night cycle. It's like used to be what your imagination. It feels like Red Dead just like allows you to indulge in it by actually offering all this stuff, and
really
it's not just your imagination. It's like we give you the tools and the opportunity to enjoy that.
Yes,
so I think like they understand that very well,
dude. Yes, like the camp is the best. You just go back to camp anytime you want. Your whole gang is there. You can make coffee, dude, fresh brew. Just going around with your mug, talking to everyone about the current state of affairs. And there is so much dialogue. It is insane. Everybody gets like three presses. You'll go up to someone, you'll do like dialogue. But like the amount of how many of those there are over the course of the entire game is crazy. I think like I heard Arthur and one person repeat themselves twice because I didn't like advance the main storyline at that point. That's it.
That's really impressive.
And just replaying, like you said, savoring those moments, Damiani. Red Dead 2 is a very dense game. The story is sprawling. So going back to it 4 years later, like there were a lot of missions I forgot, a lot of holes I forgot, but I remember bits and pieces. So just going back to the camp and tracking certain characters from the beginning, being like, dude, I'm going to keep an extra close eye on you because maybe the first time around, you kind of slid into the background. I didn't take you as seriously as some of the other key players, but like focusing on all those little details. And that is why I love replays too, being able to focus on all that stuff and really see how all the puzzle pieces come together.
This was a controversial thing of the game at the time, but I really liked it actually. I thought it worked well was how it handled fast travel.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily you could just travel anywhere you wanted immediately. I think you had to go to a train or you needed...
there's the stagecoach signs.
That was it.
Brad, it's crazy how many things this game just doesn't tell you. Because you can set up camp, and from camp, you can fast travel to like a big town.
Right.
So really, you can kind of do it.
But it's not like...
It doesn't really tell you about it.
It's not as easy as some other games, which I think works well for it.
Absolutely. There's only specific areas you can set up camp. You have to fast travel to a specific place. You can't do like right to the waypoint. So maybe you'll get close, but then you got to ride a little bit.
Yeah, I guess my question is, has it like annoyed you or any way, or have you been totally embracing it?
Totally embracing it. because this has been a great year for games, but I just started it at the perfect time. It's just like there's been a little bit of a lull in between big game releases, the last couple of months, right? Like I need to get to Stray, of course, and Live Alive.
No, but I know what you're saying.
But like the time
Elden Ring already came out.
Elden Ring already came out. Exactly. Exactly. God of War is still to come, right? So I've been able to embrace that slow pace.
Yeah.
And again, I've played over I thought I was gonna burn through this shit, and I've been playing actually for it's going on 2 months now. And I haven't been rushing it, and I've been enjoying it so much. Another thing it never tells you, I love these little details. Double tap L1, Arthur will do a little
spin.
Little
What
gun
was the other
spin.
thing you
never
loved about-
tells you.
What was the Evil Within, the holster or whatever? It's kinda like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. You're like,
Put it away.
you're like, yeah.
The RP, love it.
I remember this game had
There's also
10.
10 out of 10, and I love it, and I know this pisses everyone off. Not everyone. Missable quests. Missable quests. Yeah. In fact...
Well, it makes sense, I guess, because there's a time progression in this game.
Exactly. People die.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll do that later. That character died. Fuck.
Yeah.
I missed one that I just missed one I wanted to do. I was like, ah.
It reminds me of kind of from games. They're okay with you missing stuff.
Absolutely.
They are okay with that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's been many years since I've played this.
Probably 4 years.
Yeah, since it came out.
Yeah.
So I agree with you on story, writing, world building, incredible.
Yeah.
Probably some the best there is.
Yeah.
The one area that Rockstar has been held back constantly for many years has been, I guess, the gameplay of it.
Sure.
Of maybe not the whole gameplay.
Yeah.
I think of maybe movement in some ways, because some ways I think the movement's really great. Like your horse, I thought was great.
Yes.
Your character movement and shooting.
Sure.
How do you feel they hold up 4 years later?
Absolutely, Brad. Okay, great question. Horse, phenomenal.
Right.
Check our streams. I streamed this only twice because this has been a personal
This is your
playthrough.
game. Yeah, this is for you.
Personal playthrough, but we did stream Lenny's mission. So check that highlight if you're curious. It was a hell of a night. The horse is phenomenal. Before we get into it too, gameplay, right? I feel like because I'm gonna bring Last of Us into it for a second.
Sure.
When people say Last of Us gameplay is bad, I feel like gameplay is more than moving and shooting and interacting with the environment.
Yep.
It is also that. Bless you. It is also that RP world building, being just in the world. That's gameplay to me.
Yeah, I'm not expecting this game to be fucking Vanquish or something like that, you know?
Yeah. So...
But for what it is going for, do you think it does well still?
Yes. So the movement is better than I remember, but it still isn't the best. Arthur is heavy, cumbersome,
A lot of wide circles maybe turning around.
A lot of wide circles at OG Geralt, wide, wide turns, There is some stuff I actually like. And I liked it when it came out too. When you get off your horse, you can if something's on the back, while Arthur's getting off, you can trigger up square. You can be holding square as he's getting off. Into one fluid motion, he'll grab the thing on the back and put it over his shoulder. Little things like that.
Yeah, the
Or
animations are incredible in this game.
Next level. Or opening cupboards, you just hold square and he'll do it all in once. Where it really gets held back are close quarters shootouts.
A little clumsy. It's hard to... It's just a little slow to move. You want Arthur to run up here and cover and run down there and cover. And it's Arthur, he's older and stuff. But you'd still want him to just move a little bit quicker to I guess
areas.
I'd say, especially in close quarters, it's not as fluid as you'd want it to be.
And video games, let's solve this together. Let's do it. Moving aiming, shooting, and moving the camera. How are you gonna do all this shit? We gotta get there, you know? I'm thinking of the From Software claw of running and moving the camera and just like constantly like shooting, but then moving the camera a little bit, but then because like I need this for reload and like clamber, jump over, but then I also need to move the camera. So if I'm running and I want to climb, I gotta move my fingers a little bit. I just feel like it's a limitation of a video game controller or something. I don't know. Will that ever be solved?
Probably.
Yeah, I just turn on auto aim, Hubert, because in my mind, I've told you the justification that if I'm some character who's like, I don't know about Red Dead,
Arthur's a gunslinger,
but anyone
for sure.
who's like a good shooter or something that's like that, you should at least give me, even if it's not like everything's gonna hit, there should just be like a general like auto lock on where it's like a majority of shots will hit.
It's perfect.
You
in
might
this
miss
game.
a few, like, but like in a high movement situation, you just hold down something. It's like, okay, you don't have to worry about aiming anymore.
Yeah.
Like if you want to manually aim,
guns,
so be it.
It's
but,
super
like,
good in this. You can turn auto aim off fully, which I have done, but with auto aim, it'll target them. But like you have your little revolver 6-shooter. Even if you auto aim to them, your crosshair will be like this, and then it'll shrink. So you still have. There is still a level of like micromanaging that, even with the auto game. I think it's a great balance.
Yeah, the less movement you do, the more accurate. Like that's been around.
Yeah.
Like I'd like that, but like it would just make like for more frantic shootouts. It's like you just need to get to another cover. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't care if I really kill the person. I need to like fire and like keep them down while I like the realism there. Like you're fighting. Like in a lot of games where I'm firing at someone, they don't take cover a lot of times. Like they just keep firing at me. It's like I would love if a game was more receptive to like, all right, I'm running and firing and stuff. Like you put your head up, you're likely to get hit. That's like real life. It's like you need to stay in cover.
Yeah. Dude, when you don't aim, he does the like Doc Holliday, like, bah, 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 bah. Or like if you have the lever action and you don't aim, he like holds it at his hip and it's just like, ka-chee, ka-chee.
Really good.
I believe that Red Dead 2 is the culmination of Rockstar Games' legacy that we all know and grew up with from, you know, we like GTA 1 and 2, but for real, GTA 3 to this point, Red Dead 2, that is the legacy, that is it, because now Rockstar is different. Like, the houses are gone.
It's different, yeah.
Obviously, a ton of employees that worked on all of those games are still there, but like some key creative people are gone. So I feel like we're entering a new era, and I feel like GTA 6 will control differently.
So you have those expectations.
Yeah, I do have expectations that
I think, if they don't, it'll be bad.
Yeah,
They kind of need to now.
Yeah, because when Red Dead 2 came out, that was a huge criticism, were the controls. And I think just going into it 4 years later, having already gone through that and knowing that, my expectations were way lower.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I know the controls aren't going to be the best. So I was like, actually surprised. I lowered my expectations, so I was like, oh, okay. They're actually pretty good. Hell of a game. Hell of a damn game. One of the best.
Next time I play this game, it's going to be on PC, because there's no, future thing coming in.
Exactly.
Like mouse and keyboard aiming in this game, hell yes.
Yeah.
So Damiani, you're kind of thinking about like an auto aim thing. I think the game kind of has its own with the Deadeye mechanic. How's that holding up this time around?
Deadeye?
Yeah,
Deadeye
I'm trying to remember how it works. You physically target parts of them,
You
right?
unlock, your Deadeye gets better as the game goes on.
Right.
So eventually the highest level is enter Deadeye. You can enter Deadeye and just immediately shoot someone in slow-mo if you just want to do like one target boom, or you can do the classic like mark, shoot, and then he'll go ka-chee, 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 ka-chee. Deadeye rules, all the little details, the newspapers, the movie theaters. I just...
Yeah, an incredibly realized world for sure. Super good.
We briefly talked about it on stream as well. I just don't know what you do in a GTA 6. I just don't know how because there is the scary thought of, let's not go too big. That's always the sequelitis of like, well, it's a sequel, we got to go bigger. bigger, bigger, bigger every time. Sequel, bigger, more, and bigger. And it's like, you got to find that balance of like intimacy, pacing, guidance, and freedom. You know, you don't want to meander too long. It's like, oh man, that sounds like a nightmare. But Rockstar is really good at it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think I'd be interested to see them do, but like I think it flies a little bit too in the face of like their heavily narrative driven games. Like there's too much to account for. You start going like the BioWare route where it's like like permadeath of the characters, like your own character.
Oh,
like
shit.
if you like make wrong decisions and stuff in a game, your character dies.
So more choice.
So not like a roguelike where like you start over, but like you have a posse. Let's say Red Dead 3.
Dude, from,
An idea for
from
Red Dead 3, you have
GTA
a posse.
5 to Red Dead 2, like now going further, Damiani, I love this, yes.
Like, so you have a posse. It's like you maybe do have a leader, but like they get down. It's like, all right, you choice who steps in as the new leader now.
Your choices
like,
are more involved in the story.
yeah, like what if like would that add? If there's a mode in a Red Dead or GTA 6, like a permadeath mode. Where it's like maybe you have a crew. And it's like you lose people. Like you lose. It's like you gotta start the whole game over or something. You fail.
Damiani, I love it. I really love it because Red Dead 2 has the morality system, so you can be honorable or dishonorable.
Hold up.
And
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, no, really briefly, that changes some things to a degree, but it's very minimal. Very, very minimal.
That was my question is how... I remember this system just being like whatever.
Yes.
And like pretty inconsequential in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Didn't really matter.
So it matters. Okay.
You get a bounty on your head or whatever, and that's about it. You pay it off, or you get shot and killed, and that's it.
Yeah, but but you have the meter, right? And that's tracking the whole game, you know, high honor, low honor, right? It matters to the most hardcore role players because Arthur will respond differently depending on his honor.
Oh.
So some conversations
He'll say something maybe?
He will say something. you know, you can greet or antagonize people, there's that. And then again, just a few cutscenes play out differently. It's very, very minimal.
Minor. Do you wish maybe like people in the town were afraid of you or something like that?
Dude.
If you're a bad boy.
Dude, they are.
Like more the like they won't sell anything to you kind of thing.
I think that it does happen. I'm playing honorable now because that's my Arthur forever. Okay. But I think that does happen.
Okay.
In fact, one time I robbed someone, I robbed a store just on stream for fun, went back to the store, and the guy's like, "It takes a lot of guts coming back in here. I'm watching you, mister."
Were you wearing a mask before?
Nope.
Oh.
Yep.
Dang.
Went in, they knew. They
Brazen.
knew.
Dang.
It
That's
is
pretty
insane.
cool.
The level of detail from this many years ago blows my mind. Everyone always has said Rockstar is the best at open worlds, and it's very clear. Yes.
What if you could trade? Because you're worried about like the scale of the world potentially, like going like bigger. What if the trade-off is like it wasn't that much bigger of a world, but like along these lines here, like you're asking about like how people would react and stuff. Like if there was like a system where a main character does die, like say it was your crew leader.
Yeah.
What if your rep goes like you were building up rep with other like gangs or something, and it's like now they don't respect you. So like in the story, like if you had kept them alive, maybe factions would side with you, and you have a path line where like the crew sides with like these other crew sides with you.
It sounds insane,
They could do like
Damiani.
more complex story developments. I think
it sounds
if they
like-
have less moving parts because the world's so big. Maybe
It sounds like the budget would be $500 million, but if anybody could afford it, it is
Yeah, it's
Rockstar. If we could, true, like that's where games are headed. I feel like maybe, right? Like, do you agree or disagree? Where it's the open world detail of Red Dead 2 combined with the choices and stakes and consequences of an As Dusk Falls or a Life is Strange, where it can
and
you know, sometimes people call those games like fake choices, but like, you know what I'm getting at, where it's like the best of both worlds, where it's like so much freedom and choice, but also like this really dense linear story, but you can control that linear story.
Yeah.
Doesn't GTA Online already do something where you control turfs or whatever, or like zones or something?
They've done that in like past games, I know.
Yeah, like it's just something they've already had. It's like building upon that and making it more meaningful to the story. It's not just like it's not a gameplay system. It's now like actually part of the story. It's like it's like a dynamic story.
Do we think GTA 6 story will be online?
Online only?
Or like, do you think it'll have online elements
I do.
to its campaign?
Yeah.
I think there'll be an online mode that has like story-driven
Dude,
content.
they were already doing that in 5.
Yeah.
All the story content they added for 5 was online.
Yeah.
It scares me. I hope it's separate like they did originally.
Yes.
I like having your single player campaign and then like your online as well.
Yeah, I agree. I'd prefer that. I wouldn't be surprised if they incorporate online things, though. Maybe not all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe a few moments here and there, but hopefully not all the time.
Yeah.
What if they just tie like a significant portion of the post game? They have a significant post game that's like online. That's where it goes once you beat the story.
Perfect.
It's like
perfection.
Yeah.
Perfection. Do it, Rockstar.
In game.
Yes.
Your character joint goes on, like your version of your character gets to go online or whatever.
Bro. Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Question from Reptile Scorpio. So many older games are being given a lot of love this year by their publishers, yet Rockstar has chosen to give GTA 5 yet another cleanup and continue to leave Red Dead Redemption 2 back in the Xbox One generation. Why do you think such a critically lauded title has been left behind at 30 FPS with heavy input/animation delay? Now, I
didn't feel any of those delays. No input lag for me. There is like a little bit of delay when Arthur maybe is like interacting with a cupboard or something. It takes him a second to like walk over there.
Yeah, sure. I think we know the answer to this is why it hasn't gotten is because of, well, GTA 5 obviously they do because it makes the most money, no question. Red Dead Online is now like dead essentially for this game, and the definitive editions of the GTA trilogy I think scared the shit out of them.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because the 5 remasters are solid, but this whole definitive edition is a big time botch.
Yeah.
It just makes me sick to my stomach, honestly, that you just can't patch it. And I know that's a lot of work, but like,
well, it's Rockstar.
Yeah, and it's like fucking Red Dead and GTA are infinitely better than Assassin's Creed, but if we're talking like scale of these games, like Ubisoft just did this with Odyssey and Origins, like these old games that are massive, and they were like, here you go. Like, Ubisoft sucks, but like we appreciate the goodwill there, you know?
You think of like even Days Gone got a patch.
Yeah,
then
all
it
this
got
stuff.
a PS5 version.
Exactly.
And
Rockstar
is not really a small company.
Yeah.
You know?
It just comes down to two things. It comes down to reputation and money. One, they want to make a lot of money on this. It'll cost them money to do. And two, Red Dead Redemption 2 is considered one of the greatest video games of all time. You have something to lose if you release a version that is anything less than perfection.
Sure.
Aren't they also like, wasn't the Bloomberg report recently saying like they're giving their employees as much time? Like they're being way better to their employees now. So it's like, but like that's why they're like six is just going to take a little bit longer. So like,
no rush.
Maybe they're not lying with all hands on 6. Like, well, if we want this game to come out in the next decade, we have to focus on this game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the priorities. And like, as you said, like, sure, it'd be nice to like do improvements to 2, but as it stands, you know, it's such like, you know, for your mouth, like one of the like greats, you know,
Red
essentially, yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah, like you would think
it doesn't need like it's like it holds up. It's like it's still good to play.
30 frames, I do not like. Obviously, like it's like blah, 30 frames. Played for a few hours, zoned in. You don't even realize after a while. After a while, you don't even realize. Obviously, it would be infinitely better if it was 60. Play on PC, of course, but I don't know. The 30 like kind of grew on me, dude. I don't know, just the way it moved. It's almost like filmic in a way. Like
I think
60 can look very like a game, you know. And the slow like 30 of it, dude. I don't know.
I think you might change your opinion if you played in 60.
Yeah, probably. Like,
no doubt 30 is totally fine for that game, you know? You can play through it.
Yeah.
But I think if you see them side by side, you're like, oh, well.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying, like, don't play this game just because it's in, like, 30. Like, yes, it's very much still worth playing. Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see something on 6. I'm prepared to wait for 10 more years, honestly.
Same.
Like, that's just the way it is.
Red Dead 2 has been a steak dinner, so I'm good on open world games. I'm good on Rockstar games for like 4 more years at least.
Yeah. I really wonder how the reception of 6 is going to be. Now we're in this moment in time right now. People are very burnt out from open world games, I feel like.
Sure.
Like, I feel like Horizon got it bad.
Yeah.
After, like, Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Like, I know Elden Ring's an open world game, but they're different types of open world games. Maybe that style of open world game, you know, like Assassin's Creed kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think it'd still be done really well. Yeah. Like, really well, but maybe they're just like, really gotta, like, we have to be the leaders of this open world kind of thing. That's what they're probably trying to think of.
Brad, yeah, dude, I've noticed the trends. I try to notice the trends in everything pop culture, and it's like audiences in movies now, they don't want, like, big battles are done. Nobody wants big battles anymore. People want intimate characters, you know? Video games, big open world, 8 sprawling epics. I feel like people want smaller, more intimate character stories.
Yes
like
and no.
Being huge is not a selling point anymore. It's like
not.
It's just a bullet point, and it's not a positive or a negative. It's like it's not what we want. It just is. It's like we want meaningful stories and characters and good gameplay.
I think it's both. People say they want smaller things, and things like Elden Ring comes out, which is humongous. Granted, I know it's from software, and that game is massive, and people are eating that shit up.
Yes. But I did see some takes, you know, and
Of course, there's going to be takes no matter what about anything.
just about how even the best of the best Elden Ring, after like 80 hours, you're like, okay, I'm going to get to the end now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
totally.
all right.
Totally. Totally.
Love it.
It's just funny. Side tangent, you said, like, people are over big battles.
Yeah.
And I just think about how people say, like, Rogue One is the best new Star Wars movie. And I'm like, and you're like talking about characters, and I'm
Yeah.
like, well, that's
Rogue One characters.
The characters suck in Rogue One. They're terrible. You know that.
I only saw it once in the theater. I can't
Okay. All right.
comment.
All right. All right.
I've only seen it once.
You know, totally cool if you like them. I think they're boring. But that movie, when I think about that movie, when people talk about it, it's just like the action. Because a lot of crazy action in that movie.
Yeah,
All about that shit.
For sure.
Side tangent, sorry.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah. Uncontroversial topic. Everyone agrees.
Oh, so easy talking about Star Wars. Thank you, everyone, for indulging in my Red Dead 2 tangent 4 years later.
That's what the people want, you know?
yeah.
I think that's really cool. Like, you playing it and our other friend Grumbum playing has been really fascinating to me.
Yeah, that was the
As
catalyst
a new
too.
person who's a very...
Oh my god.
He likes video games, but he is a casual.
Yes, he
Very casual.
only plays a few. Grand Theft Auto is his favorite of all time. Red Dead is his favorite of all time. He bought 2 when it came out, still has not beat it. This is his redemption.
This guy, Damiani, ready for this? He played Metal Gear 1, 2, 3. Didn't play 4.
Yeah,
Didn't
always
finish
happens.
the fight.
It always say he never finishes the fight.
Never finishes the fight.
Doesn't finish the fight.
Yeah.
Dang.
He's gonna finish this one though.
Yeah, he's been playing.
He's been playing.
So that's good. We're getting progress reports.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of finishing fight, I finished the fight on this game like a day or 2 ago. Been playing Live Alive.
No.
Nice.
A old Super Famicom game that never got released outside of Japan. Finally got a remake in that awesome, what do they call it? HD 2D style. This game's cool.
So it does look different than the original.
I mean, obviously it looks visually different.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not just a straight port of it.
I mean, I've not been paying attention, all right?
Wait, haven't you seen You've seen
I
trailers
know,
for the game.
I
where there's
know.
no way
I've
it's gonna look
seen
like.
so many screenshots, and I'm like, this is a crazy Super Nintendo game. Shit.
Oh
Good
man,
Lord.
yeah, you wish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very curious to hear about this game because it's been getting a lot of positive reviews, positive buzz, and it's so interesting to me because it's a game that is visually it just has so many great screenshots that are that's eye catching for a lot of
For
different
30
reasons.
years ago, it looks crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just But structurally, it's a unique game in that it's like chapters that jump across all different types of time periods.
That's the special thing about this game.
Like, speaking of Red Dead, there's a Western segment in there.
Dude.
Yeah, I would say, so from a gameplay standpoint, let me just say that the game is turn-based, but it's grid-based. You move around on a little grid, and some of your moves, they can go on these squares, or you do positionals, thing like that. Pretty basic, but it's fine. It doesn't do anything crazy. The craziest the combat gets is like, maybe you can interrupt a guy from doing a move, or this square they put a debuff down on, don't step on it, you'll get hurt by like lightning or water, or you could do that. But the main thing about this game that makes it special is its scenarios. So I'm not going to say how many there is, but there's at least 6, I'll say it like that. And like you said, there's a Wild West one, there's an Ancient China one where you're a monk in Ancient China. Let me describe this
all my favorite time periods.
Let me describe this one.
Every
you
favorite one.
are an old monk. He's very old. And he's like, I need to pass on my martial arts. So you go out and you recruit students. Then you train them.
Here we go.
That's like the basic things of his. So I'm like, well, this is Hubert Bait. The Wild West one, you are a gunslinger. You come to this town. The town is getting like overrun by bandits. You help the town people out.
Samurai, fucking 7 Samurai, Magnificent 7.
And what's cool about this game is it took me like 20 hours to beat. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Some things kind of drag a little bit, but each scenario is like
4 or 5 hours.
No,
2 to 4 hours.
Yeah, maybe. Some are pretty short. Like the Wild West one is pretty damn short.
Damn.
Where I beat it, I was like, oh, that was it? It's over? Damn.
Shit.
Kind of thing like that. But some of them are a little longer. Some of them are...
Samurai one too?
The ninja one, okay, so the ninja one's my favorite, and I'll tell you why. So obviously I like ninjas. Cool, tight. The whole point is you're infiltrating this castle. You can go in, you can just fucking kill everyone if you want, or you could be stealth about it and hide. Like, you have a button to hide, so you could like put up a little cloak thing and people can't see you, and you could kind of try to sneak past guys.
Dude.
Does
the story change at all there now?
I think so. I think there's like small tweaks.
Little dialogue of like, you're a bloodthirsty maniac.
Yeah, like small tweaks like that. I think maybe it'll change the ending of that chapter a little bit.
Cool.
But there's like guards and they have passwords. And if you say the right password, you can sneak by them. But if not, you got to fight them.
Yeah.
And this castle you go through is almost like, it's very, very light Metroidvania style.
Nice.
Where of like, you go through, you can't go through yet, then you get a key, maybe you go like there. But you're going up in little sick like attics and sneaking around.
How many
jumping on roofs.
How many difficulties?
Difficulties?
Just like
I don't think there is a difficulty.
Yeah,
Normal
ask, like, because it's jumping around, it's
so.
like, and when I hear about being able to skip fights, is there like a leveling system?
So you can level up in these individual chapters, but your progress like doesn't. Minor spoiler: the last chapter of this game, I guess it's not a huge spoiler, but if you're really, really cautious about spoilers for this game, just check out for a second. Is the last chapter is everyone together.
Okay.
And their levels from your thing carry over to this kind of.
Nice.
Okay. Well, that's because like in the ninja level, I'm kind of like curious if you skip all the fights, or you just like does it make like the final encounter like way harder because
it does. But I looked it up, and you get some extra stuff though if you don't kill anyone. You get some different like items and stuff like that.
Like that.
Hard
so
mode,
incentive.
Gear carry.
Hell
Gear
yeah.
carry.
So some of them are like
just backstab.
Some of them you could be like, oh, I want to replay this to do this little thing different. But like one of the segments, it was my least favorite, but I respected what it did. Is it's like there's like no combat in it. It's very story. The whole thing's like story focused. In the distant future, you're a.
Is there voice acting?
Yes, there is voice acting. Now. They added voice acting for a lot of stuff now.
Whoa.
So you're a little robot on a spaceship, and it's like Alien almost. You like wake people up, and there's
Brad,
a
every
ship crew.
freaking scenario you've said is bait.
You will like a lot of these scenarios.
God.
And like you work through and some mystery kind of thing happens on the ship like that. So the game's cool. I think there's a prehistoric one. I think it's all right. So like this game I don't think this game is like special gameplay wise, like the day-to-day combat or whatever like that. But the scenarios it presents are cool and they feel unique to an RPG.
TV
That's the
show
strength
vibe.
of
You
this.
play one of those a night.
Yeah, you can totally play one because they're like 2-3 hours. Some are longer than others. Some are harder than others. That's for sure.
Okay.
But like the first one I did was the modern era, which is in the 80s now.
Oh, do you
Or
pick
90s.
which one you do first?
Yes, you pick whatever ones you want to do.
I thought it was like in
no,
a
no, no. You
sequential
pick
order.
whatever order you want to go in.
Dude.
Mega Man, dude.
It is like
Mega Man.
yeah. But the first one I did it's like a fighting tournament. It's almost like Street Fighter. You pick who you want to fight. Yeah.
Shooting exam.
It's this guy who just wants to be good at martial arts. I did that one first, and I didn't know the game super well yet, and I got my ass kicked. I was like, oh shit, I don't know how to do this yet. So you may run into a scenario, some of them are easier to hop into than others, I'd say off the bat. I came into it later when I understood how things worked better, and I mopped the floor with it, because it's cool. Like this one, you do the fighting tournament, if you get hit by certain abilities, you can learn that ability from them.
Got it.
So the point was, for me, was like, go in this fight, get hit by like a couple of their abilities, learn their moves, then defeat them kind of thing. You go through like Street Fighter.
Does the combat in each world mostly feel the same?
Yes.
Like same mechanics, turn-based,
yeah, it's the same
grid,
mechanics.
same-
You
cool.
get, every character has different abilities though.
Got it.
Like the ninja you play has like a few ninjutsu moves or something like that. You could throw a shuriken, and the gunslinger, obviously his stuff rolls around like shooting his gun at stuff like that. The monk, you get martial arts stuff. They all have different moves, which is cool, but it's all like mechanically the
Turn-based.
same. Yes.
You only play as one character. You don't have party system or anything like that, right?
yeah,
In the
well,
beginning, in the individuals.
Some of them you have party.
Okay, so you do. You might,
Some of them you
okay.
have a party. Some of them you'll be alone.
Okay.
It just depends on the scenario.
And I saw in some of the footage, just like I don't know if they're just bosses or maybe they're regular enemies. Some like just giant, like huge. Like
Those are usually the bosses.
Okay,
yeah.
they look
Huge
like
sprites.
super exaggerated. Yeah,
Those are usually the bosses.
okay. Yeah, they look pretty cool.
But I guess it's hard for me to talk about a lot of this because it is very like small stories, and I don't
Yeah.
want to like spoil the stories for people who are going to play
now,
them.
from what I understand, this is also the soundtrack for this game was composed by Yoko Shimomura.
It's her first Squaresoft game.
How was it?
It's good.
So is this a new?
It's rearranged, yeah.
All right. Do they let you toggle between the OG and the original?
I don't think so.
Or the new, and it's just the new.
I
stuff?
think it's just the new stuff, but it
Okay.
is good.
Did she do the rearrangements?
I think she did. I'm not sure though. I should look into that. I'm not sure who did, but she composed the original soundtrack.
Got it.
It was cool when they released the game or it came out. There's a little video of her talking about it.
Sick.
So I was like, oh shit, this is your first Squaresoft game.
So cool.
So
Yeah, jumping between the time periods. I mean, it's just thematically makes me think of like Chrono Trigger.
of course it does.
Yeah,
And
it's
yes,
like-
yes. There's stuff like
But it's just like crazy. I didn't know about the being able to choose whichever
Yep. You
scenario to
choose
jump
what you
to.
want to go into.
That's like wild for doing it like at that time period.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
super impressive, especially for a Super Famicom game. You're like, wow, this is really sick. Because nowadays I think of like Octopath Traveler, or a game kind of like that. It's not
Yeah.
the first game to do it, especially nowadays. But back then, it was super crazy.
Yeah, everything was so like yeah, you had like a main story quest. You're gonna follow it. You're not skipping around in it and stuff like that. Especially like all the early like Square stuff, like both Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. You don't do that.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of cool to see that this is another product of like that 90s era Square that had so many crazy experimental games come out.
Yes.
That I wish, maybe they could get back to a little bit of that. I mean, we have a bunch of releases coming out in this like second half of the year. Maybe some of that will scratch that itch, but like just in general, that was like a wild time for like Squaresoft.
Yeah, it
and all
was.
that. Yeah.
It really was.
Bang bang.
We're kind of in a wild time for Square Enix right now. I feel like they have a million games coming out this year.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of weird. But I guess I would say with Live Alive, if you like, turn-based old school RPGs, this is kind of like a no-brainer. I think you'll enjoy this game. The gameplay probably won't stimulate you like in depth, especially nowadays. It's very simple, but it's cool. It's
That
fine.
sounds like.
It's very simple though. But the star of the show is of course playing all these different scenarios.
Those visuals. I got a question. This is a Huber question right here for Brad.
What's up?
Does this game have like an economy? Like, do you like buy anything? Like,
Not really.
Okay.
You mostly find everything,
question.
mostly gear. There's like you can like there's like some crafting in some of the
Okay.
things. Like
Okay.
in one of them, you can just like find items and go to someone and they'll craft something for you.
Okay.
That's about it. You're not going to like a shop usually and like buying new gear and stuff like that. I had a question from Holden Potter. Said, hey, Alice, just finished playing Live Alive and it was fantastic. So much that I'd love to see a sequel of it somehow, maybe covering different time periods. What time periods or settings would you guys want to see? So I thought of one immediately when I saw this question, and I think you'll be into this, is a noir detective time period.
There you go. I was going to say Mafia. Same shit.
Same shit.
Yep. Black and white.
Yeah, something like that.
Black and white world, for sure.
What about you, Dom, man? Do you get any time periods in your head?
Man, so you go to, what are the ones you go to? You said the future already.
There's like the
prehistoric.
far future. Yeah, there's prehistoric. There's
Samurai.
there's
Ninja.
Japan, and there's ancient China.
Wild West.
Wild West. There's like a medieval one.
Medieval to cover them all.
Is there like a water or ocean themed thing or anything like that?
No.
That could be cool. Like Atlantis.
Waterworld.
Atlantis.
That's a fun idea.
Nice.
That is a fun
Atlantis.
idea. Yeah, that's cool, Dom.
So we have Atlantis, we have black and white, like mob, and then you said space. What about another planet, like the moon or something?
Yeah, you could do that.
Like a space base.
If you're like an alien or something, maybe.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
Sick.
For this segment, I just have a question. We got two questions from. They're kind of similar.
Are
So
they
I'll read
about
it to-
Arthur Morgan?
No, they're not. Nothing else is about Arthur Morgan.
Damn
sadly.
it. Damn it.
Starving Artist said, "Hey, Elias, with Square now using HD 2D style to remake some of their old games such as Live Alive and Dragon Quest III, what games would you like to see remade using this aesthetic? And what do you think is most likely to be next?" And TheDarkKnight also said, "What RPGs deserve the HD 2D remake treatment?" Obviously, one that comes to my head right off the bat is Chrono Trigger.
Yeah. Chrono Trigger is a good candidate.
Question, Damiani. The Final Fantasy pixel remasters are not this. They're different. Would you prefer to see them in this style?
I mean, I kind of like pixel remaster for there. They do have like in 6 pixel remaster.
They do a little more.
The Opera does have a 2D HD. It's
Yes.
done in 2D HD for just the Opera scene in 6. But like most of the game is not like that. I mean, that screenshot came out early, so people thought, "Wait, are they doing 6 in HD 2D?" I do think some people would like to see one of the 6 or one
Probably
of the,
6 the most.
yeah,
I'd
like
say.
in 2D HD. Yeah. I don't know how they do this because it was like 3D model, like, or pseudo 3D model, like trying to be 3D effect with the isometric would be like Super Mario RPG. That one, I don't know how that would work.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know how that would work because it's
Interesting.
not like that.
yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
What
Like
Xenogears would be sick.
they are never gonna touch that game. But yes, it would actually. It would be highly demanded.
Why
But
don't they want to touch that one?
yeah, because
there some drama?
Because the team that made it left to go make Monolith Soft that went to Namco.
So there's
And
drama.
now they're at Nintendo, so they're owned by Nintendo, the development team. So
Got it.
Square would have to either use another team, which would probably defeat the purpose, or potentially they'd have to work in Nintendo and it'd be like a Switch exclusive, which I don't have a problem with that. But some people might be upset that like it was only coming out on Switch. Who knows? Like it, not impossible, but it seems like it's something they're not quite interested in. The question is specifically about JRPGs because I say there's like some other games I'd like, but dang it, yeah.
I got some.
You got some?
They should do the old Dragon Quest games like they're doing 3. They should do 1, 2.
Oh, okay,
They should do all of
yeah.
those.
Well, yeah.
They should do those. Fire Emblem.
Oh,
That's RPG. It doesn't have to be JRPG.
That's a good
like
pull.
the old Fire Emblem.
Wow.
Because they already did DS and other versions of those, but I mean, even those could like go up one step further, be the 2D HD for that.
Yeah.
Especially like the battle scenes, because I usually eventually turn those off, but like those could look pretty
Really
epic
sick.
with that effect as well. And
I
the
remember
map,
Golden
just the
Sun
maps.
looking like HD 2D. When
Oh
it
my
came out.
God, Golden Sun
It
is a
looked so
really
good.
good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It already looked
love that.
so good.
Dawn, I haven't talked to you
Yes.
like at all this whole episode, I realized.
I'm here.
Is there anything that you would want remade in that
You know
style?
what I thought of that might be sick for this style visually, especially? It's not a hardcore, it's more of a light action RPG, but they could add some more RPG elements. But this franchise, perfect timing for it to get rebooted in this style, not with the grid-based movement. Gauntlet. What do you think about a Gauntlet in
Wow.
this visual style? Would be sick as hell.
The original was tight.
Back in the 2012 one or whatever it was.
Was it that long ago now?
I think it was 2014. Actually.
Holy shit! I
Yeah,
liked
but,
it. It was okay. I liked it.
It's been
but dude,
okay,
bring it
but I
back,
think
Dawn.
a lot of times they make the characters bigger on these newer, but going back to a little bit smaller characters, and you see a little more of the environment, and and just having that depth of the little diorama type look to it, I think could be super fun for a co-op game like Gauntlet.
I love
that's
that.
that's the only one that popped into my head right now.
I only think of Gauntlet Legends. I can't even picture Gauntlet in my head.
Really low budget.
That one is super basic pixel art.
Yeah, I don't think I've even
It
played it.
kind of looks
And
like
it's
you know
always
the
been
game
top
where
down.
you move across to get to the other side.
Damiani's favorite game.
Yeah.
What is it?
Lolo, Adventures of Lolo.
Hidden in plain sight.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that, honestly, like a little bit.
The early Tales of games too, like Tales of Fantasia, Tales of Destiny.
Were
I
those
think.
Super Nintendo games? The
Super
first ones?
Famicom. They did get like updated versions, but just keeping like this specifically having a HD 2D style would be kind of nice to see for those as well.
What's that RPG that never came out here but came out in Europe?
Illusion of Gaia?
Yeah,
or
would that
Secret of Evermore? One of the two.
Would that
keep
lend itself well to this style? Do you think? I can't picture it in my brain what it looks like.
It's like bigger sprites.
Is it more like Secret of Mana looking?
It's more like that looking.
Okay.
But maybe they could try that as well.
Like, what?
I just want HD 2D for like Super Mario Brothers, like 1, 2, and 3. That's what I like. I know
for a platformer.
Yeah, like
Okay.
like we're talking JRPGs, but it's like, man, I'd like to see it for like the old Mario games. It's like do that. Like it's just like sprite, like a nice HD sprite running in the middle, but like everything in the background was like HD, like cool looking. It'd be like, I don't know.
Shoot, man.
It'd be kind of fun. Bowser fight could be way more epic now.
I was thinking of like the tactics games. Like I thought of Fantasy Tactics, and I was like, no, I don't want that in this style. I think tactics, those kind of games have a good art style on their own already.
Yeah.
And they did Triangle Strategy, which is that essentially, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of good candidates. A lot of RPGs out there. I think it would be great for any of the NES, Super Nintendo era RPGs, pretty much.
Dude, yeah.
I think it'd be great if just Dragon Quest VIII came to PS Plus. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Hold on. This is interesting. Dragon Quest VIII, you bring this up.
Yeah.
I do think about how you don't like the 3DS version, right? You don't like that they added content?
Oh, I don't mind it. I just don't want to play a 100-hour game on a...
No. But I remember you saying the party, you didn't like that they had new party members because you felt like...
Oh, yeah, it's a different game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different
Have you
game.
played through it all the way?
No.
Okay.
No.
I haven't either, so I wonder how different it feels. But
Yeah.
Dragon Quest VIII, you should...
Try just the standard stock version. The basic version.
Hubert,
Just put it on there. Not a big deal. No big drama.
this segment right here is called Sort It Out.
Sort it out.
So this is something we want the game industry to sort out, whatever it is. Now, you make me think of this. This totally popped in my brain is
Yeah.
I want to get to a point where I can play a lot of these older games on modern hardware. I
Yeah.
still think about how... I think about the God of War collection, okay? How that's like PS3. Like, you can play it on PS5, I guess, but you have to stream it.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It does suck.
Why can't I play a lot of these games on modern hardware nowadays? Like, what is taking so long with some of these fucking games?
Money, vision, commitment. I imagine you need two things to make it happen. You need the money, and you need somebody who wants to do it. Somebody who is passionate about it. Someone who is like, yo, we need to get Dragon Quest out here so everyone can play it, or we need to get God of War.
Sony, if I was Sony, I'd be like, yo, okay, so every game, every collection we made, the Sly collection, whatever, the God of War collection, Ratchet and Clank collection, I'd be
Uncharted.
like, yo, we got to get these on modern hardware.
Yeah.
They, like, not streaming.
Yeah.
If only
Just
they
saw-
acquired a studio that specialized.
Yeah.
Just saw someone talking shit on Infamous, the PS3 streaming version.
Yeah,
they
of
were
course.
like, yo, it looks really muddy.
Yeah.
So
And that's a PS3 era game, so it already looks
yeah.
muddy.
They're like, it looks really muddy, so I'm gonna hold off to play this. They tried it because they wanted to play Infamous.
Yeah.
and is like, nah, I don't want to play some compromised version.
Yeah.
Like I know there's some defenders out there for the streaming of the PS3 games, but in
Like,
my
it's-
mind, for game like preservation and
Yeah, I agree.
authenticity of the original version, like I would rather have nothing.
To
than-
me, it's-
than that streaming compromise shit.
Have nothing.
Yeah, because to me it is like to me I won't even touch those. Like I've tried so many times over the years to play those streaming PS3 games, Arkham Origins, Infamous, what have you, and it's just the input lag, dude,
For now,
the muddiness.
it's a compromised version of the game.
Yeah, so I would rather just
For us.
I'd rather play something else.
I know like cloud gaming is getting bigger and bigger, and people are like more into it now.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll get better. But
My internet is good, but apparently still not good enough.
you
so,
you probably have the best internet you can get.
yeah, and it's not up to the demands of streaming
Yeah.
God of War.
It's not like we live out in the boonies.
No, live in a city,
Yeah.
normal,
Yeah.
better than normal internet,
Yeah.
and it's still not enough. So I can't imagine like what 60, 70, 80% of gamers are dealing with that stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Dumbman, you got anything that's bothering you?
I mean, I feel like for Sony, specifically for their first party stuff, the older stuff, they could start maybe if they don't want to like do full blown like remaster remake.
Yeah.
Can they get at least on like PC port jobs or something?
Seriously,
Since
what is
they're
going
like
on?
they have like an like they
Here we go again.
Well-
like God of War collection like can you
Yes.
get that running on PC somehow?
I'm getting flashbacks and cold sweats because I always come back to hashtag PS2 to PS4 campaign that Shu was all hyped on, getting these old PS2 games, porting them to PS4 with trophies.
Oh yeah.
Up-res, look amazing, play amazing. That fucking died so fast. Here we are now, PS Plus has launched. One wave of classic games, like, here we go again, dude. Are we gonna? How many times are we gonna update these classic games? Like, are we gonna just get it like new games like twice a year? Like on it, like
Oh,
that's what
yeah,
I'm
the slow
expecting.
drip, yeah.
I'm expecting the slowest of the slow
Yeah. I
drip.
think the drip will be slow.
It's like there's no rush,
Hey.
but also like we don't need to go this slow on this stuff. Like
At least you either have that or you have the twice a year Nintendo prehistoric caveman / obscure beat 'em up game added to the Super Nintendo.
You're like,
fucking Wild Arms 1 and
those aren't
3
coming out
on
fast
there,
enough
but
either,
not
Damiani.
2. Like I guess I'm not gonna play through this trilogy. Like what are you doing? Sort it out. What do you say, Don?
No, sorry about that. I was just saying, Damiani, those obscure caveman games they keep dropping are on a slow drip from my perspective too. So they need to turn the faucet up on those.
That's great.
God.
Yeah.
Don, you got anything?
No, I promise I'll try to think of something that annoys me for next episode.
Okay.
I know every once in a while a couple things.
I'll do it
get-
for you.
Okay.
Wave race.
Yes.
Anything? I guess.
This is still bugging me too. You're right, Brad. I'm
like,
glad you brought
why is
it
that
up.
not on the
Why
Nintendo
is this
thing
not-
yet?
What are we paying for exactly on this Nintendo Online service? I'm
Yeah,
not
what's the
sure.
fucking point?
Are we
What are
getting
you paying
anything
for if
here?
There's
What's
no
happening?
wave race.
Yeah.
Straight
Still waiting
Got
on it. No
Mario
excuse.
Kart DLC is part of it, so I have to pay. Like that's included in the price. I mean, you got. Animal Crossing DLC if you want that. I mean, I don't know what other DLC they might.
Yo,
be
Mario
adding.
Kart 48 tracks.
Yeah.
I'll clap for that. That's insane. That's one of the most insane things
These
I've
new
seen
tracks look good.
in a while from Nintendo.
I
Welcome
don't really
back.
play the N64 games that much, just because of like I feel like if I want to play them, I'm just gonna play them like on N64 or something at this point. Even with the controller, it's just like, do I really want to like I'm playing my Switch. I want to play other stuff. I feel like I don't know, like
get that.
like it's just older retro games.
Yeah.
Pre N64 is so easier to get into and like complain. N64 feels like you gotta at least commit to a minimum of an hour.
Yeah. Yeah,
or
dude.
you're not getting that's
Yeah.
not worth it.
Yeah, you're not booting up Majora's Mask for 10 minutes.
Like 10 minutes. Just, let me make some
Nope.
progress. Oh, I walked across the field. Congratulations.
Well, I guess you could in Mario 64 though.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good one. You just hop
Booth that
in.
up,
Then
dude.
that
Don't
one
even
I'm
go in the
not-
castle. Just run around outside.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm not leaving.
Oh my god, the demos at the stores of that game. Holy shit. One last thing that's been bothering me is where the fuck, Damiani, are these Final Fantasy pixel remasters on anything else?
I would love to just know the answer.
Like, what? Why?
Just the reasoning. I just want to know
Same.
so we know the reasoning. Then so it can just be like, wow, okay, this because I don't envision how it can make any kind of sense to anyone.
How are they not on Switch?
How are they
How are they
not
not
on
anything
everything?
else?
How
Oh,
are-
sorry, they're on mobile. So there you
Why
go.
are they on everything
Why are they not on
possible?
everything, but, like,
why are they on
really?
like Stadia as well? Like it should be on everything.
You would think so. This is like the series that made SquareSoft and Square Enix, like, well, not Square Enix or Enix, but SquareSoft itself huge is Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy is bigger than Square.
I mean, I don't know
In
how
my
long they're
mind-
still selling.
In my mind, I go on the street and I ask 10 random strangers, do you know what Square Enix is or do you know what Final Fantasy is? More people will know Final Fantasy.
yeah.
Yeah, of course. I
Yeah.
guess you could do that with like anything, though.
Yeah. No.
It's just like
Nintendo is bigger than Zelda.
the only thing I could think of is like they want
that's
to
true.
do a collection and they're just waiting for like the individual sales to like drop
Do
off so
you-
much that it's like time to hit that refresh button. All right, collection version, go out there like
So,
$100.
Damiani, I just
something.
realized they have a lot of stuff coming out this year. Do you think they're just like holding off?
It could be, but like this could also just be a thing where they don't put it on anything else, and who knows like why. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like one of the, like it's just so confusing to me. I mean, it's like a step below Nintendo and their vaulting crap. It's like, all right, Square Enix and Pixel remasters, we're not putting them on consoles. What? Why? And then like, okay, maybe you just want
Do you
mobile
think there's
devices.
some
Why not
kinda-
Switch? But like, could one company really be keeping like? I don't think so because like. All of them were on Nintendo platforms, but they've all appeared in other versions on like they've been like on older versions have been like on basically everything at this point. And it's
Seriously,
like
and Final Fantasy, I feel like, is loyal to all Nintendo,
And-
Microsoft, and Sony
and like
have
seven,
all had.
7 onward is like
Yeah.
on Xbox and stuff
Yeah.
too. So it's like it's just 6 earlier. It's like the Pixel remasters is like why these versions? Like is it a licensing thing? I can't imagine, but like who the heck
don't know.
knows?
I don't know.
Sort it out.
Sort it out.
Yeah, I don't
Great,
know.
great segment, Brad. I'm a fan of Sort It Out.
You know what? I didn't think of this earlier, but I should have done this. If you like anything we do, you like this show, you like Easy Allies, check us out on patreon.com/Easy Allies. That's how we are. That's mostly how we're living. The lifeblood of Easy Allies, I'd say for sure, is Patreon. Also, if you're listening to us on like a podcast service or a YouTube, you know what? Like, and if you're enjoying the show, leave us a nice review. It does help us out a lot.
Yeah.
It's the business, the business stuff I don't like doing, but it is essential for a business to do that, I guess.
Help us live.
Yeah.
Help us.
Drop us a
Help us survive.
drop us a comment about Arthur Morgan.
Yeah. What's your favorite
Anytime-
thing about Arthur Morgan?
Anytime you want to talk Arthur Morgan, you message me direct. Straight up.
Message him on Twitter.
DM me on Twitter if it's Arthur Morgan.
DM on Twitter.
DM me on Twitter if it's Arthur Morgan related. I will respond.
Okay.
Good Lord. I love it. Also, with Patreon, we have a shout out tier.
Yo.
These are our lovely shout out patrons who go above and beyond for sure. We got Jabbawabs, Elthanas, Greg TheDarkKnight Kettering, Caleb Togi Crawford, and Anacrothe. Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out. Why don't you give me Dawn? Why don't you give me a Arthur Morgan shout out? I know you love Red Dead and you know a lot about that game.
Yes. I've loved listening to the way Huber plays this game. Just filled my heart with joy. That's how I play. Literally, I played that game for 2 months. I think I only made it to the third chapter of the main. I'm serious. I was walking into town. I was taking shots, wandering out in fields, just living a life. The story really interfered with my story, Huber. It's a funny thing. But
yeah. Dude.
how about this, Brad? Ready? He doesn't have too much of an accent, but I'll try. Well, I'm going to add a little bit more.
Do it.
Shout out.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out.
Love it.
Huber, do you want to do it? I know you love Arthur.
This
Or do
is
you
gonna
want to
be
do...
good. This is gonna
Why
be
don't you,
Shout out.
why don't you give me a Dutch shout out?
Shout out, Arthur.
There it is. Beautiful. Damiani, I'll spare you the shout outs as you're face palming for our audio listeners.
Dude, there was a night when I was just in such a meditative zone. I went up to the mountains where it's snowing for no reason and just like watched the stars. And it was
Chilled hard.
Dude,
I love
Hard
that.
chilling.
it was ridiculous. ridiculous. It was like an hour of doing nothing, and it was one of the best things I've done in 2022.
Isn't that special in a game when you just like
Yes.
you just lack of a better term, you just vibe out in the
You
game.
just
You just
vibe
chill and you're like just like looking at shit. I remember Damiani, I was in outside Limsa Lominza one time, way back in the day. I think this is when Realm Reborn came out, and it was nighttime. And I was just like staring at the sky for like 2 minutes, and I went, "Oh my god, what am I doing?" You just like
Caught yourself.
so in there, yeah.
Yes.
Stargazing.
Stargazing, that's right.
Stargate.
Huber, I'm glad you brought this game. I previewed this game for us a while ago. And this came out, had good word. We played a little bit of it. Seemed people were into it, but I just haven't heard a lot about it because, there's so many goddamn video games out there.
So many games.
Talk to me about OlliOlli World.
OlliOlli World. OlliOlli is maybe my favorite Vita game ever made. Honestly.
More than Persona 4 Golden?
It's kind of tricky because Persona 4, I guess Golden is so Vita, sure. Because like Persona 4 was originally PS2.
Yeah, but Golden was not.
Sure. All right. Persona 4 Golden, then OlliOlli. Thanks for keeping me honest,
Yeah.
as you do often,
be
Bradley
careful.
Ellis. Love OlliOlli and OlliOlli 2. Welcome to Ollywood and OlliOlli World. Same thing, was on my radar, but there's so many damn games that it was harder to get into. And sometimes when we do a group stream of a game I want to play, it'll make me not play it for a long time. We did group stream this.
Yes.
Couple things I want to talk about here. One is a rant.
Oh.
Not really a rant. One is, let's talk about this.
Please.
So many games now that, like, and this happened with Bear and Breakfast, Damiani. This is relevant. This is relevant.
Oh gosh, I know where this is
So
going.
many games now that don't need an in-depth story are chasing that in-depth story. They're chasing it down. They need the bonds. They need the emotional connections. And like, yeah, absolutely. Like, easiest way for me to get invested in a video game, other than if it feels good to play, is a character I care about, of course. But like, not every single game ever made needs some in-depth, insane, front-loaded story. Brad, I'm playing OlliOlli, and like OlliOlli and OlliOlli 2, the reason they're 10 out of 10 Vita games, fast, grind, kickflip, go. Die, immediately loading back to the beginning, doing it again. Like, you don't stop playing. Dude, OlliOlli World, I'm not even joking, the first like 2 hours of this game are a couple tutorial missions, a couple like normal, easy missions, and just a ton of dialogue from so many characters before each mission and after each mission. And it's right at the top. So it's like they're asking me to be so invested straight away when it's like, dude, how am I going to be super invested in what is going on when I'm still learning the moves? Like, you haven't even taught me all the mechanics. Like, I see the world map. I see tutorial missions like 5 away, and you're talking about like skate gods and and like grinding videos and all this. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I was not feeling.
That's interesting because, like you said, the other OlliOlli World games were just about the like playing skating.
Yeah.
And I thought it was an interesting, and maybe on the surface, because I didn't get too deep in it, was like a good idea to maybe throw in a little bit of a narrative to keep people invested in the skate journey beyond. Because you think about, they did whatever, like 3 or 2 games before like that, they have to do something new for this sequel.
Yeah, big time console game, higher budget, more going on. But it just leads me,
You think it just got in the way too much?
yes, and I was thinking of Bear and Breakfast, and just the trend of that in a lot of games now, like throwing so much story at you. Gene Park was talking about that with Cyberpunk. Everyone's been like talking about his Cyberpunk playthrough recently. It's really funny. He was talking about how it took him years to get was that a year now?
No, that game's 2020.
2 years old now.
2020.
Took him years to finally get to the point where he could finish the game and get into it, and he's like obsessed with it, loves it. It's one of his favorite games now he was writing about. And he's just like, dude, I couldn't get into it because the first 4 hours, 5 hours are just this linear, story-driven. You have to do exactly what we want you to do. We're guiding you through before they let you off the hook and like let you RP and like fully immerse yourself. It's like holding your hand.
You know what, Huber? What game?
And that's a story-driven game.
I think a game that does that in the sense of it keeps you in a box, but it gives you this great feeling of exploration is Breath of the Wild.
Oh, I thought you were
right
gonna
off
say-
the bat.
I thought you were going to say Elden Ring too.
That does also.
Yeah.
But Breath of the Wild is like you wake up, you're out there.
Yes.
You get this feeling of like,
Yes.
whoa, I can go anywhere. It definitely keeps you on a leash. Like you're in this very tiny plateau in the grand scheme of things, but it does feel like
You have
it
control.
gives you that feeling, yeah.
Yes, Brad.
And I know Elden Ring, Cyberpunk is a completely different beast in
Of
that
course.
sense,
Of
but
course.
that is something to think about. Is like, I think of Horizon also, the newest Horizon, Forbidden West, where it's this. You're going through this like very linear area. Mm-hmm. They want to teach you things. They want to keep you guided, but somehow it feels restrictive, too restrictive, I guess. And it's such like a weird balance to find that nice middle ground.
It is, and I hope you know how patient I am with video games. It's like my favorite thing.
I'd say you are.
My favorite thing to do is just vibe out and be in a world and empathize and familiarize myself with the characters of that world. But not every single game needs it.
Mm-hmm.
Not every game. And, you know, it just reminds me of like back in the day, like every game's got to have multiplayer.
Yeah.
You know?
Dead Space.
Yeah, and I feel kind of maybe like now it's like, you know, things move quicker now at least, so maybe like this trend will die off before it even fully begins. But I feel like a lot of games are just pushing narrative in there that like don't necessarily.
Multiplayer was to prevent the returns back.
Yeah.
Like,
Online pass.
early trade-ins.
Oh my
and
god,
stuff.
online passes, dude. Oh.
But that think piece aside, you know, that's like a gaming issue, also an OlliOlli World issue. But when you're shredding the rails, when you're grinding, when you're playing, it is incredible, and it does give you that sense of like, dude, you fail one more time, one more time, one more time. You fail, you hit triangle, you're right back at the checkpoint. Let's go again.
Yeah,
and it's just, you like, I'll find myself just like, even if I do it okay, it's like, dude, I can do it better.
Yeah.
We can get those challenges, and I really like quality of life stuff. So there's challenges to beat just the high score. There's a challenge to beat the level without using a checkpoint, without dying or whatever. But then there's the optional challenge to get like cosmetics for your character.
that's really fun.
Yeah.
When you finish one of those optional cosmetic challenges, there's 3 of them. You get credit. You get credit. I love that. You can get the credit and die and go back to the beginning of the level. But it's like, dude, that's banked. That's banked. That challenge is banked. I really like stuff like that where it's like really, really hard and challenging, but also really fair to the player. And I'm just on like the second world now. There's like 5. They have DLC. I'm already fully committed. I'm going to do that Void DLC. And this piqued my interest and really gave me the nudge to get back in there. They have an Oxenfree crossover.
Oh.
Oxenfree, one of my favorite indie games. Oxenfree 2 is coming out. So hyped for this, but there was a little crossover there with OlliOlli and OlliOlli Oxenfree. I just got it! I just got it! I just thought they were homies because it was like indie games. OlliOlli Oxenfree. Where's that from? What is that from?
That's a game.
Like Goonies or some shit?
I mean, but it's a game.
Like a kick the can,
it's like the
tag, OlliOlli Oxenfree.
I think it's the phrase you say like to give up, right? God. In like hide and seek or something.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's a catchphrase to for truce in games like hide and seek and capture the flag.
Love it.
Yeah.
Nice. But really good. Just flawless controls. Pick up and play. Easy to pick up and play, but so hard to master. It's all just mostly on that right stick. Any kind of direction.
Yep.
The other way is do a kind of flip move, and then like down is kind of a perfect landing and grinding.
It felt
just
good. We
phenomenal.
played it. I think we played on Stream Team as well.
Yeah, we played it on something.
We got to like a forest area. Where It was like where we, as far as we got. And then we saw like the secret zone, which was like the DLC or whatever that we couldn't go. We were like, oh, we're just gonna go to that. Oh, we can't go to that just yet. But yeah, like how more evolved, like the multiple paths and stuff. Like how can I get up there? Like, oh, am I supposed to fall down here first? And like while also maintaining like you don't keep your trick going for that multiplier. And then like making sure each one's a different one,
keeping
and
the speed and the trick going, like managing that is so tough. Where it's like I'll want to keep the trick going, but if I try to like jump this gap, I don't have enough speed. So it's like maybe I gotta give up the trick, get a little speed, then cross. It's like, and you're all thinking of that stuff on the fly. Like purely gameplay, incredible.
Yeah, I think it was really good for what I played. Only like an hour or two, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, maybe all the plot is front loaded. I doubt it because each person like kind of has their own region. So I assume it's gonna be this whole thing like the whole way through. But maybe it'll kind of be in the back seat later on after the tutorials go through, and I'll get to do a bunch of levels in a row because it's just like start stop.
I do like the presentation of this game, the way it looks
Visually,
and
awesome.
the music I think is really cool.
Great music, great customization.
Yeah.
It's really cool when it loads. It'll show somebody on your friends list like doing a move. Their character.
Oh, that's sick.
Their created character doing something.
That's cool. Yeah, I want to get to this game. Hopefully, by the end of the year.
Hopefully the story like comes together or doesn't bother me when it's all said and done, because purely gameplay wise and the legacy of OlliOlli, like this could be and should be one of the best games of the year. But a couple things are getting in the way, so we'll see.
I have no problem skipping a story in a game like this if it gets annoying to me.
I never have, and I don't think I'll ever be able to. But the last couple years, Brad, I have been able to hard quit a couple games that I wasn't feeling.
Yeah, you used to not be able to do that.
I used to have to get to the credits. Now I've been able to drop some games, and it has been painless.
It does hurt sometimes, but sometimes you just got to do it.
Skip some
Just
story.
got to do it.
Interesting.
This next game we're going to be talking about, small indie game. You may have heard of it. I'm not sure. Damiani, you may be into this also. It's called Resident Evil 4.
Small indie game.
Small indie
game.
Small team at Capcom.
Yeah. Was it a group of like fans made this?
Yeah,
right?
just some fan mod.
Yeah.
It's with the remake coming out, I decided to replay this game because I haven't gone through the normal game in a very long time, like all the way through. This game's still very good. Very, very good, I would say. You know what really impressed me about this game so far, or going through it again, was how well or how good the scenarios are actually still. These encounters, I think of Resident Evil 6 humor. The scenarios where we're just like,
the pawn shop.
Man, this sucks.
You just compare any encounter, any kind of survival encounter in 4, you just compare it to 6, and it's like, what happened here?
What happened?
What happened?
What happened? Like, man, this game really knows how to start. Really good start, man. Go into that house, sets the tone immediately. What's really cool about this house is it trains you with a lot of the game mechanics before you even get to the village part. Like, most people will jump out that window in that first thing, right their first time playing this game. Like, I sure as hell did. I'm sure all of us did.
The QTE with the axe.
The QTE with the axe right off the bat, too, to keep you... Dude, I got killed by a lot of QTEs.
Yeah.
Because there was a cutscene going, and I would, like, put my controller down to like, get some water or something.
My trick. Hit all the buttons. It all works.
Hit all the buttons.
Every button and it works.
That.
You never can fail.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
But damn, the atmosphere in this game is really good. The whole beginning, like, I think the island is the worst part of the game. Definitely. It was better than I remember and worse than I remember. But we'll get to that later. But the beginning of this game and this like Eastern or like European village or whatever is so sick, so different. Do you remember when this game came out? We were just calling it Action Evil because it is.
I do.
Like if someone says this
demo.
game is a survival horror game, like it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess by today's standards, you could kind of cherry pick and say it is. But back in the day, no. This game is full action
movie
all the time.
There's people with machine guns in this game.
There's people with Gatling guns.
Yeah, dude.
in this game, dude.
Gatling guns and rocket launchers.
Multiple Gatling. Yeah,
RPGs.
RPGs.
RPGs, all that shit. But damn, this game goes...
Chaos.
But damn, this game goes...
Oh my gosh.
This game This game goes places, man. So many cool locations, so many different types of bosses. Like, the water boss, like, what the hell is this thing? Then it does the El Gigante dudes, like, these cave trolls. There's, like, there's fucking 4 of them in this game, I think. We're just, like...
It's all over the place.
But what's cool about them is they all put them in, like, a different scenario.
Yeah.
Pretty similar, but a little different. Like, one of them is, just the normal... The dog comes. Hey, it's that dog. Which is the Okami dog. It's just Amaterasu, I think.
You gotta pump up the dog's role in the remake. Just a tiny
little bit more?
Tiny bit.
Yeah, I want to see the dog, the El Gigante fight, and maybe come into, like, when you're getting attacked by a villager or some shit.
Yeah.
Just, like, bite him on the leg
Out
or
of
something.
nowhere, it runs in.
During the first dog encounter, when you are coming back after that.
Oh, and they, like, sprout their little...
No, before that, when you're just trying to go back to, like, the little church to get Ashley to rescue her, going back up those boardwalk things, going to, like, those passes.
Little bridge there.
And then they're just waiting for you by the graveyard. Like, that's, like, your first dog encounter. What if, like, they ambush you and, like, dog can come out and save you, too? So good dog versus bad dog. But
Good dog versus bad dog.
But, man, the part where you're with Louis and
The cabin?
the cabin, dude.
Yeah.
Top 10
The
video game
survival
encounters
in
of all time.
the survival in the cabin,
Yeah.
2 floors, trying to barricade everything. It's like nothing is going right. You're like, oh, I'm buying a lot of time. No, they're crashing through, and like, all right, I'll just go upstairs. No, they're coming up the ladders. It's like,
So good.
Yeah, the game has really good tension.
Throwing the
Still-
grenades
yes.
to the stairs, dude.
The tension is so good in this game.
dude, it's like a siege, man. Like defending a
Dude,
siege.
the island though, man, like there's like a part where the Mike and the chopper's coming, okay? And there's like dudes on like machine guns shooting at you, and you have to like kind of go through it. I felt like I didn't know if the guys were infinitely spawning, but I was just like, when I was playing that segment, and then I thought back to the earlier parts of the game, and I was just like, how the fuck did we get here?
Yeah.
What is like? I understand you're getting to the end of the game, you want to ramp it up.
Yeah.
I think a game that does it better, but still I think kind of suffers from it, is The Evil Within, the city. I think the city is better than the island,
Thank you, Brad.
but I still
that
think it goes a
city.
little too far.
Because,
Also,
well, at least with the city, too, no spoilers, but then there's a little just one extra little thing after
Yes,
that,
there is.
too. Good climax, yes.
Yeah, I think you go to the island because it's where the device is to remove.
it makes
the
like I
thing.
understand why.
But
You
like,
Well, they take Ashley there.
yeah, oh, they can't have Ashley's going after her. Ada helps track her and stuff.
yeah.
It's like,
Narratively, yeah.
yeah. I mean, we also got the Legion of Doom dudes in that part.
Hell yeah.
Dude, those guys are kind of cool. The
Animal.
hairs.
Yeah.
Hawk.
Like you shoot their shoulder pad, ding, 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 but then you head
Love
pop them.
that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So the island has stuff like that I don't like, but there's also like some lab parts where I'm like, oh, cool.
Really good lab parts.
There's like some of those freakers that become like the you got to use the
Iron
thermal
Maiden.
cannon.
Regenerators.
Regenerators, you got to shoot those things off like they're in the labs. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Or
But
when
then
you-
it just goes.
First time when you don't have that, and you're just like, what do you do? And you just like either you feel like you run, but then
Yeah.
you can't because you still got to get past them, and like unloading into them. How much ammo made you pump into
lot.
them
A lot.
to take one down without that thing was like so good because it's like shit. I can't fight another one of those, and then you get like the therm. But even then, they're like movement. It's not like the remake movement quite yet, where the zombies move way better in those
Yeah.
ones. Now that's why I'm gonna fear regenerators in the remake. So you're gonna have that like creepier, erratic
shit.
movement. But even in the OG version, their movement sometimes when you shoot them, like their next movement, like they kind of like swivel and stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
damn it, I wasted a shot. I
Yep.
don't have that much shots. Like, come on, dude. And having to manually re-equip like the right scope.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? You had to, like,
Yeah, yeah.
toggle
Yep,
between them.
Yep.
I didn't even buy the scope this time. Like you could still zoom in without the scope, and I was like, why do I even need the scope?
Just
Don't
to
even need
see
it.
the little...
No. You get the thermal one.
Oh, yeah.
The
You don't have-
zoom in
But you
scope.
can buy a scope also for the rifle.
That's right, that's right.
But you can still zoom in.
Rifles.
That's right.
Rifle is like my favorite thing,
I love
especially
it. It's
The rifle is
fun.
really good.
other like memorable part, but like one of the tension parts in the castle, the big open area with
The water
Ashley,
room.
the water
yeah,
That's
room.
like a legendary room.
Legendary.
Yeah.
Frickin' with the crossbow
Yeah.
dudes at the beginning, having that rifle
They
equipped
come through the
immediately
ceiling?
is just like Oh man, we're so much relief when you take those two out right away.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're running to that back room, and you're like,
Do that back room.
Love that game. They give you the illusion you're safe in these spots, and like you don't notice those holes. Yeah, you said they
people
just
jump through the
drop
ceiling.
down.
Yeah.
It's like
Insane.
what? No, not
Yeah.
fair. The maze, the garden maze with the dogs.
Before we get into that, I guess I was just gonna say before
Sorry.
this is that I think the castle is fucking excellent.
Exquisite.
Still, it is so good with how much variety there is in there, like of things they make you do, and of course visually it's like our jam. You know, it's a gothic castle. How can you not love that?
Unnamed
Shoot-
castle.
Shooting some like weird cult freaks. It's like, yeah, man, this is good shit. But like you brought up the maze, those fucking dogs, man. Scary.
Shocking.
You just hear them. They do a ton of damage too.
It's like
so much
you
damage.
Miss a shot there, man. It's like you are paying, usually with your life on harder difficulty, is like one
Oh my
shot.
god, yeah, it's so brutal.
Not a fun time to deal with that. And I love how you can't like scope them out from like afar. I mean, sure. I mean, on like first playthrough, it's like where your sound, like the sounds is constantly like, wait, is it there? Like just every corner you're turning, it's like once you understand they could jump out of anywhere, you're just like, dude, I hate. But like getting those high ground parts, those two high grounds, I was like,
Yeah, little
oh
bridges,
my
love
gosh,
that.
thank you.
That's the great thing about that game is too, when you get little moments like that, you feel like it's a reward, and it doesn't feel like, yes, it is scripted, but it doesn't feel like it as much to me when I was
Yeah.
getting it. I was just
Straight
like,
up.
dude, nice, sick, stuff like that. Obviously, we think you should play this game. No brainer. Don, have you played this game?
Yeah, I love 4. That's my favorite one. I have played. Yes,
Excellent.
5 and 6. I fell
You
off.
played
of
5
them.
and 6?
Yeah, well, no, those ones are. That's where I started to fall off. I tried them,
okay.
dabbled in them several times, gone back to them, but never really played them like
Got
I did
it.
in the previous ones. Yeah. Now wait, Veronica was before 4. I was
Code Veronica
correct.
it was.
Okay,
yes.
cool. Yeah, yeah.
After
so-
3, before 4.
Yes.
I think it's an interesting spot here. I don't want to talk about it, but I think a remake 3, cutting the content. With 4, though, common complaint is
The island?
the island.
Yeah.
These are reimaginings, as they've said. Everybody calls them remakes. Capcom has said reimaginings. Do we think they are going to take some liberties
Yes.
and trim
Yes.
some of the island or add things? Do we think there's going to be additions, subtractions, or both?
Both.
Brad,
Yeah, both.
what do you think? What additions?
I think they'll trim the
subtractions?
island for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they took out some of the El Gigantes or something like that, because
Sure.
there's 4 in the game.
Sure.
I think they'll make some cuts and people will be disappointed that some things aren't there. Mm-hmm. But I think they'll add some things that are good. I think they'll add some new enemies, like new types of enemies.
New types of enemies.
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
New types of enemies.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see why they
I thought
wouldn't.
4 had so many, had like some of the most variety in
Like,
enemies, man.
I've seen people say this, and I kind of agree with them, that the footage we've seen of the remake shows Ashley running through the town at the beginning, and people are like, yeah, you'll probably play as her at the beginning. I'm like,
Prologue.
that makes sense. I could totally see that happening.
If you're like escaping captors running in the woods,
yeah.
horror style.
Because you think of like,
I'm nervous.
Think of Village, like the Village start. You're in your house. Then it's like you get captured and you're like
Oh my
wandering through
God.
the snow for a little bit.
Dude, that snow, it's all dark.
Yeah, they could totally easily do something like that.
I hope it's like that.
Like this game already has the remake to me already has a more horror approach to it than 4.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more scary than 4.
They said that, yeah.
Yeah, because like you see that screenshot of Leon with a flashlight. That's not in the main game. Mm-hmm. Like Ashley gets one at a part, but like it's going to be different. I think there's going to be like much more creep, much more survival horror aspects. Yeah, there's going to be parts where you're going crazy and shooting shit, of course. But I think it'll be a little more,
Grounded.
I don't know about grounded, but a little more not as like insane action all the time.
Yeah. Do you think we'll see Albert Wesker before this game comes out?
Before it comes out? No. I don't think before it comes out.
Do you think they'll tease him? Sunglasses. somehow.
Maybe.
Maybe you see him from the back.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the game more.
He's been gone so long. This
think,
is the time.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised, Huber,
Saving it.
if you run into Wesker in the game, like as a Leon. I wouldn't be surprised if he's there in like the island. So because I think you only see him in 4 and the Ada stuff.
Yep.
You actually seeing him.
Correct.
I think you might see him in this game more.
That's what I'm hoping for, Brad.
I think that'd be a great idea.
It's my hope.
Like,
it's time for the return
there was
of
the
the
rumors.
king.
I've heard numerous rumors that they're cutting Krauser, then they're not cutting Krauser.
Yeah, the Krauser thing's funny. I feel like that was just no validation, like internet rumor.
Yeah, totally.
That was fear tactics. Someone was just scared.
tactics.
Yeah,
But
somebody was just scared they're gonna cut Krauser.
I could
Why?
see them
What?
cut. I could see them cutting Krauser here because he doesn't show up
I don't think so.
until the island near the end of the game. And the only thing he is impactful in the story is he captures Ashley. That's it. You hear about his past kind of with Leon, but that's about it. You could do the story without him.
I really think he's essential because of the way they both work for Wesker and Krauser and Ada work for Wesker, and then the Krauser and Ada like uneasy tension. I think he's a pretty important character for that.
That's
stuff.
like one cutscene. But what I'm saying is, if they replace him with Wesker,
okay. Sure. Like books do, they'll combine characters. If they make a movie, they'll just like combine 2 book characters into one.
now I don't have a problem. They could totally make him work. I don't got a problem with that. But I'm just saying, I could see them if they want to focus on Wesker more, cutting him out. If they're going to cut something, because
Crazy.
this game's going to have differences. It's going to be cuts. It just depends if the cuts work or not. You know.
Yeah, I don't think Krauser's going, but that would be nuts.
Yeah. How many years after 4 is 5 again?
It's like 5. I think 2 or 3.
Because I wanted to pitch this. You want Wesker's involvement. What if instead of Krauser going in, he's using Jill at that point?
In 4?
Yeah.
I think
That's too dramatic.
That's too dramatic. Yeah.
Way too. I'm all about deviations. Like if they get my boy, the Duke, in there to somehow reference, something like that with the stranger, the merchant, maybe something like that. Like always down for story deviations. But if you start doing something like that dramatic, I wouldn't hate it, and I wouldn't be like no, but I'd be like, this is weird. I'd be apprehensive about it. I'm open to it, but let's not start changing too.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing here is if you take content out and you cut it, is it going to feel empty without it? That's my thing with 3.
Yeah.
Like it feels like shit's missing. Like it feels like it.
That's fair.
Only reason I think this is because 2 and 3 are the first to get the 2 games get the reimaginings.
Yeah.
And it's got Ada,
Yep.
Leon, and Jill.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe they
And Claire.
Huh?
Don't forget
Oh,
Claire.
yeah, and Claire. So I feel like they might try and work in one of those characters somehow.
They might.
Because I don't know if they're doing a Code Veronica remake or reimagining, so this might be their chance to like rework that lore. Because what if they want to work in some of that lore from Code Veronica somehow into this in a way? How would you feel about them cutting out the island but adding just as much content, but it was like reworked from Code Veronica somehow?
I've floated that before. I would be so down with that.
Wait, what do you mean working in Code Veronica stuff?
There's like
a post, like after like dealing with like
Yeah.
Las Plagas, like just like Code Veronica, you have a constant like scenario afterwards. Like
Yeah.
there's a little bit more after
Code
the
Veronica
game.
scenario.
Like, you're chasing down Ada now. Like you actually do follow Ada to like Wesker's place or whatever, and it's like Claire's there or something, or already. Or
oh, you
something.
mean like a new?
You're talking something
like
brand
Code
new.
Veronica 2? Like what?
Yeah, getting wild here, Hubert.
I was thinking if they.
What do you think? Chris is going to show up or something and fight Wesker?
Yeah.
I mean, my dream is that they remake Code Veronica, but obviously, worst case, they don't. It would be cool to
I don't
have.
see why they wouldn't.
Yeah, it would be cool at least to have some scenes in 4, but then that really kind of like muddies
Code
4
Veronica.
and Code Veronica in a way.
Because, yeah,
So,
Code Veronica is like the Redfields and Wesker.
yeah.
I feel like there's going to be more development about the fall of Umbrella and its fallout in this.
Oh, I fucking hope so,
Yeah,
dude.
I don't think it's gonna be as simple as like, oh, Ada's around, and what does that mean for
going.
Umbrella? And like, there's the opening that said, oh, Umbrella fell, blah blah
Yep,
blah.
yep.
I think there's gonna be more to that in this one, Huber.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they've reinvested in these characters.
I agree.
And so that's why I would not be shocked to see a character who was not originally in 4 show up in 4 somehow. Wesker's probably the most
Perfect.
likely. Yeah,
he is in
is-
separate
yeah.
ways, we know, but he's mostly on the her little like Palm Pilot thing.
But I would
whatever the
love it
hell.
if like Leon sent like a distress call at some point,
Claire or
and
something.
Claire shows up for like
Yes.
instead of the island, like it's the island part. It's like Leon's captured too. Claire shows up,
Hell yeah.
and like now you play as Claire in a segment or whatever to like save like free Leon or whatever.
Dude, one of my favorite narrative and gaming tropes, I was thinking like Star Wars Final Battles, they do it when you're like cutting between things. I think of Metal Gear Solid 4, dude, when you're just like cutting between, like, it'd be so cool if like we just cut to Claire doing something somewhere that was like
Yeah.
somehow relevant to what was going on
Yeah.
in 4. Like, yeah,
So I think.
get a little wild.
I
with
think
it.
we're 100% playing as Ada in the main campaign at some
Yeah.
point. 100% is already been confirmed. You're playing as. I mean, I think it's confirmed, but like I would assume it's confirmed from the footage that you're playing as Ashley in more segments than just that segment. So I wouldn't be surprised they add like another playable character just for a segment. It's not
Yeah.
like it's not multiplayer. You're just gonna play as I think Lewis. You might play as Lewis. Would be freaking sick.
Dude, Evil Within, Lewis as a cop, like before the events of 4.
Dude, like an infiltration thing for him to like get the sample or whatever before he's killed and taken back. Dude, I think there's good opportunities there to do a lot of this stuff.
All right, if you could have him cut or add one thing in Resident Evil 4, what would it be?
Cut?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd cut some of the island.
Cut something on, and if you could add one thing, what would it
Wesker.
be? Wesker, okay. Excellent.
We've been talking about a lot of stuff we want from 4. Let's talk about specifically gameplay stuff. This is from Garrett Holfish. With Resident Evil 4 Remake creeping up, how do you think it might update the gameplay? For example, will Ashley escort segments seems some streamlining? I was wondering this too. Will Ashley be able to defend herself maybe a little better this time around? Because, the most you can do with her, put her like a dumpster, or it's about it. Maybe she can like push a guy away from you or something.
It'd be a cool throwback.
Or she has a little knife. I don't know.
It'd be a cool throwback. Give her the remake defensive items, limited quantity.
Yeah,
only
the
a few.
flashbangs and
The defensive knife, like, only a few. Have it be a consumable.
Yeah.
Would be a fun nod to original
that'd
Resident
be-
Evil, and
That'd be sick.
gives her just a little bit of extra, because you have to imagine the enemies are going to be more intense, more out of control. Like,
Yeah.
they're going to level up. You got to level her up a little bit.
That first Las Plagas transformation and remake is going to be so ridiculous. They're going to go overboard.
Wet gore, dude.
I'm just planning for like being able to run and shoot. Like it's going to play like RE2 and RE3. Just
Will
know it's
Leon be
gonna-
able to slide?
Slide?
Slide.
No.
Call of Duty,
No.
Fortnite,
No.
Apex, slide.
I don't think in that sense,
I don't
but
think
like
so.
the other biggest question mark for me is what they're doing with melee moves.
If it'll be the counter, or
yeah.
if maybe it'll be like a parry or something.
Like, can you like shoot and trigger it? Will there be like, and are they gonna do the QTEs again? Because like those really weren't in 2 and 3.
We don't do this often.
Yeah, that's true.
Shout out to 6. You were onto something with the melee combat in 6. Jake?
Oh,
Jake, unarmed combat? Not the best, but there was something there. That was a good building block. I feel like Leon, Leon is a maniac. I feel like we could somehow kind of...
A little in between.
Yeah.
The only thing is, with that is he has a knife too.
True.
And I do wonder about the knife. I was thinking like, what if there's like a new knife you could buy or upgrade your knife to do more damage or
they
something?
had that
I don't
in
know.
Village. Yeah, the different knives.
Yeah, so we talked about this earlier, and I think it's going to be more horror-esque. I think maybe there is a very, very, very minor stealth element in 4. I wonder if they'll dive into that more. In the sense of, in 4, you can kind of like maybe walk into an area without them noticing you, maybe cut a few boxes, get some stuff. If you cut someone, it might not alert
Yeah.
everyone. But
Wow,
as soon as
it'd
you
be
shoot
insane.
a gun,
Yeah.
it goes off.
Dude, stealth attacks would be so insane. That'd be such an
sneak up from behind.
insane.
And
game
maybe not
changing.
like
Oh yeah, just doing Evil Within.
exactly. If it goes, if
it's
it
like,
leans into
exactly, if it's like Evil Within, maybe.
Here we go.
I just wonder, I don't know what they're gonna do.
that, yeah.
Because Leon is more capable now than he was in 2 Remake.
Absolutely.
Like, how are you gonna show that gameplay-wise his
Yeah.
growth?
I think it'd be a really cool balance, like, because sometimes stealth isn't an option, and I feel like if they got that balance right, it'd be really cool, Brad. Where if just a couple parts you do have the element of surprise,
Yeah.
and you can stealth, that is a really cool idea. Like the hedge maze, dude. If you could like somehow sneak through that, or just some other encounters, yeah.
Yeah, you can't do it all the time.
Do diversion
Can't do it all the time.
stuff would be nice. Like some things that could cause diversions would be good. Like
Shoot the bell.
Well, that
those guys.
but taking it further, but like in the village, maybe one of the new aspects is like you don't like in the original one. If you found a spot and you're good enough aim and you had enough ammo, you could just stay there and you win. What if they do a thing where it's like like if you get overwhelmed by a mob in this version, maybe you can unless you get like the god tier guns fully powered up, you can't do shit. Like you are going to get overwhelmed. So maybe it's about like you got to set off like an explosion over here, and that will lure a bunch of like I'm thinking like was it Days Gone type stuff,
Yeah,
like
sure.
stuff like that where you might like the crowds get too big at sometimes. Like you cannot fight this.
Yeah.
Like it actually is like you need to run around and use the environment to survive in the village. That would be the sickest change if they did that. Where it's
That
like
really would be.
I can't just win by shooting everything in this part. That'd be great.
Because the thing I noticed on forward too, I mean, we've got the game so downloaded is like there's a shitload of resources in that game, even on professional.
yeah.
Because like one, there's just a lot of ammo, and two, because we've beaten the game 50 times and have it so download, is headshot meta roundhouse knife.
Yeah.
dude,
So I'm hoping the resources
Would
are
you
refined.
Would you want
no
Hubert?
RPGs for sale.
No RPGs
Yeah.
would be interesting. Do you want the knife to break like in 2?
The knife's pretty OP.
The knife is okay. So the thing about
It
the
really
knife
breaks
I
the
like
game. It
is
really breaks
because the knife is a
Reset the
special
room.
knife that him and Krauser both have.
Exactly.
But the knife is super good.
It's really good.
Do you?
It's tough. It's tough. All these things, I can't imagine how many weeks and months
Dude,
Capcom devs
knife,
would just
meta.
like talk about these things. Like it's so crazy remaking a game because you have that advantage of like, okay, what doesn't work? Like we have this game, they do too, fully figured out, just like rolled down on a mat. Like here's all of Resident Evil 4. We've finished it a billion times collectively as a society. Like what can we improve? But like George Lucas knows, dude, sometimes adding things might not be the
Yeah.
best thing to do, or changing things.
Yeah.
So
Running
hell of a
or
task,
shooting
hell of a
is
task.
such a big thing.
That completely
Yeah.
changes the game. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like they were
Even
talking about with
for-
Last of Us remake, not putting prone in to the remake because the combat designer was like, yo, the game would break. The environments back then were not made for being prone. It would break the game unless we fully rebuilt every single environment, and then it's just a brand new game.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
So, which Resident Evil 4 is maybe shaping up to be.
I do hope they have good bonus weapons.
Always.
Because
Chicago
they had
typewriter,
those
baby.
legendaries. I'd like to see a few additions,
typewriter.
a few changes. Instead of like the beam weapon, I'd love to actually just get a real like Mega Man cannon
Hell yeah.
to honor that.
I
'cause
would
it was
like a
supposed to be-
revolver as well. Bring that back. It's been too long, dude. Give me the. Well, we
there's-
had the
there's-
Wolf's Bane.
Well, there's a Magnum like that in 4.
yes,
The revolver. The first one's a revolver.
yes, but a like I'm thinking of Claire's from original 2.
Oh, like
so
a-
like just classic, like bam, 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 bam,
Oh,
6 shooter.
okay.
Okay. I also want them to give you like a Hadouken or something to make that.
Sure.
Yeah, I want that.
Yeah, that'd be
Just
fun.
I want goofy shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
If they're gonna remove the goofy shit, but like removing a lot of the goofy stuff to make it more serious, more horror focused.
Yep.
When you finish the game, let me have some goofy stuff. Because you got lightsabers in freaking Village.
I know.
mean, they did goofy. They did goofy.
And we got Lady D coming, and she gets to throw a chair at you in the
Yeah.
in the DLC.
Yeah.
That's what going there.
Yeah.
is
Dude,
true.
Lady D to Chivalry brawl mode.
Those playable characters in the DLC too. That whole vibe, it's like, dude, 4 mercenaries.
mercenaries,
Let us
yeah.
play as Krauser again, and Wesker and
Yeah.
Ada. Dude, Wesker with the gloves and the silenced pistol.
Dude, will Hunk
so tight.
Will Hunk have a roll in 4?
You know, we always wish. We always do.
Bro. Bro, now's the time, dude.
Yeah.
Last confirmed report of Hunk pretty much is Code Veronica, him being pissed at not getting all the information from Umbrella for doing a job, like dropping off a sample. Where's he been? What's he up to? And like you said, this new generation we're in now, he's in Remake 2 prominently. Mm-hmm. Time for a comeback.
Question from Christian Jimenez. Hey, allies. I had a friend recently play through Resident Evil 4 for the first time. Also his first Resident Evil game. One thing that we talked about was how Resident Evil 4 is an addicting game. I totally agree. I've played this game so many times and still always fun. What makes RE4 addicting? Do you think the remake will hopefully have the same feeling? Thanks.
Easy answer.
Good.
Because I grew up with the originals, right? That are a little harder to get into. You know, you get lost. There's puzzles. There's a fucking currency to save your game. That's stressing you out, right? 4 is so streamlined. This is a streamlined game. Like Brad said earlier, it drops you right in. You're invested. Mm-hmm. You know, it lets you play. The upgrades are so addictive. And this game is constant dopamine. You're never really lost. You're never really stuck. There's always a carrot on the stick, whether it be a new environment or new story development or collectibles, hidden items. Again, leveling up those guns, like hoarding all of your money. Like, dude, next time I see that merchant, like it's going down. Selling all my treasure.
Yeah, the treasures.
And then, you know, not new to 4, but just the replay value of a Resident Evil game and unlocking things.
Yeah, I agree.
It just moves.
A lot of it's the upgrades. Just keeps you going, the unlocks.
Yeah.
And
You're
like
never
I
really
said,
stuck.
the scenarios are fun to replay.
Yeah. Like, think about all the Resident Evils before that. Like, you could easily get stuck. Mm-hmm. Where am I going? Oh, I've used all my health items, and I need to get here, and there's 5 zombies in the way, and I have no health. Like, hard fail. I guess I'll just quit. Or, like, you know, that happened to a lot of people.
I agree.
This is from LEL. Hey, allies. RE4 Remake has me scared ever since Hubert uttered the words punished Leon. Leon's personality in the original is one of the main reasons I love that game. From his cocky and confident attitude when first meeting Ada, to the ridiculousness of him backflipping over lasers. My fear is that they will take away all that make Leon in the story, and they'll make the story all dark and brooding instead.
No chance.
What are some of your fears when it comes to RE4 Remake? I think, yes, it'll be darker. Leon will be a little more serious at parts, but there's still going to be some cheeky lines. I think there will still be some cheeky lines.
Chew on that, you overgrown son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's like a brief taste.
Yeah.
Kind of, I guess.
I bet they leave in the bingo line.
Got to. What would like the 2022 version of or 2023 version of that be? Do people still play bingo? Would it be Uno? Where's everybody going? Uno?
No, bingo still.
Bingo, I think. Is
Okay,
like,
all right.
yeah.
Bingo's still
Okay.
kind of a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Especially when
yeah.
the game's supposed to take place, probably.
I bet
still
more people in the
appropriate.
world know what bingo is than Uno. So.
Okay. I feel like
Yeah.
Uno's so big.
You know what I was thinking, Huber, before I forget? You know how 3 had the what if scenarios for the DLC?
Yep.
What if they do that for 4 and that's the island? It's a what if scenario. It's like
It's really funny.
That would be
That's
kinda funny.
really good.
Yeah.
Nothing new for Resident Evil to add filler side stories to their games. Like, we were just talking about this with Assignment Ada in 4 as a filler little thing. And like you said, in 2 remake those stories.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess about Leon, honestly, I'm into him being maybe a little more serious at some parts, because, like, it's a serious fucking situation sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
Cool.
I get the backflip off the wall for the laser thing. Like, that's fun. I get all that. Totally
yeah.
fun. But
Yeah.
that's not, like, the make or break it for me kind of thing at all.
Yeah. And yeah.
It just reminds me of fucking, like, Dante or some shit like that.
I hope they make it even look more ridiculous. You know what I would
Oh,
love?
sure.
I love them to do, like, pull a Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, where they go even more ludicrous.
Oh, my God.
Like
man.
jumping off a
Yeah.
rocket.
Yeah, they will. Oh, my God, dude. Twin Snakes.
They're like, yeah, we wanted to play with everyone's expectations. We made you think it was going to be more serious, but
Yeah.
Leon's even more insane
Even more
in this
crazy.
one.
Yeah.
More one-liners.
I will say Remake 3 is like my favorite version of Resident Evil characters, so I have a lot of faith.
I was going to say that I think their characterization of the characters we know has been very good so far.
Yeah. So I still have faith
Yeah.
that they'll do right. And he's awesome in 2 Remake, so just continue that.
Yeah. Y'all ready for some emails?
Let's do it.
This first one is from Chris Park.
Is it about Arthur Morgan?
No, I told you, none of these are about Arthur Morgan anymore. But if you want to talk about Arthur Morgan, DM Mike on Twitter. Specifically, DM him.
DM me.
Are your DMs open?
Open.
Okay. Send them
Wide open.
your thoughts about Arthur Morgan. Chris Park says, What are you most excited about for Breath of the Wild 2 with the leap of technology that Monolith has done with Xenoblade 3 compared to 2? Damiani, I haven't played 3, and I don't know the
I
leap.
couldn't tell you the leap in technology between 2 and 3 because I didn't play. I mean, I played through 2, didn't play through Torna, and I haven't played 2 since 2017, so I can't really compare the 2. Mm-hmm. But to answer the question, because they were specifically asking about Breath of the Wild sequel, instant travel between multiple open world environments, like
Sky
and ground. If that was
ground.
instantaneous,
Yeah, it's
on
like
a
seamless.
Switch hardware without an SSD would be like
Pretty insane.
I'm not telling you, I'm secretly hoping it's taken so long. They're trying their best to make it
If any game is going to be a showpiece, it's this game. This is the game out of every Switch game.
It's funny you say that. It reminds me of, they just commented on this a few months ago for Life is Strange. The remaster was botched because for this really important scene, the remaster loads. It fades to black. And in the original, they didn't have the proper tech to be able to do it. So they did some crazy cheat. I don't know all the tech details, but they did a crazy cheat on it where it is all seamless. So they were working around it, dude. And the wizards at Nintendo, I'm sure, can
Damiani,
make anything work.
Yeah.
at the end of generations, usually the games are much better from all standpoints, especially from a tech standpoint. I think of Uncharted 1 to The Last of Us. Kind of like that. Think of that leap.
Big.
Now,
Big.
Breath of the Wild was also on Wii U.
GTA 3 to San Andreas.
Yes. Breath of the Wild was also on Wii U. It's not going to be anymore, thank God. Switch only. Do you think it'll be very noticeable that it's not on Wii U also anymore?
Wait, was Breath of the Wild?
Yes, it was on Wii U.
Both. It's on both. Switch and Wii.
That's the Zelda cycle.
As someone who didn't play a lot of the Wii U version, but I know you mean specifically the Switch version being kind of held back.
Yes.
Potentially. Yeah, that remains to be seen.
It is hard to judge.
What they've
right now.
shown, most of the shots they've shown look pretty good. I think the only shot I didn't like was the one of the Bokoblin encampment on the surface. It looked kind of just the surface shots look mostly the same, but everything with the sky or the underground, the first trailer looked a little bit better. But this just be cutscene renders, using different models for cutscenes versus what you play when it's real time gameplay. Yeah, I hope there's a little bit of a bump in that, not just because it's no longer having to be multi-platform, but also because it's been 5 years, will be 6 years since the original came out. Hopefully those advancements, it should look a little bit better in
I agree.
some spaces.
Hopefully run better.
Yeah, hopefully.
They patched some of it when it came out eventually, but yeah.
Yeah.
This is from Highly Anticipated. I'm playing Demon's Souls thanks to PlayStation Plus. Do you feel From Software games are missing something to make them better than they are? Whether it's a small mechanic or feature. I like that you can grind as an available option, but how do you feel about fixed difficulty? Once I feel a little OP and slash through enemies, I feel like I cheesed it a bit. That sense of progression is great, and their games always keep you on your toes, but sometimes I like only one way to overcome a tough situation. I know it isn't required, but leveling is still important. I haven't played Sekiro, so that's probably different altogether. Just specifically Soulsborne style. This isn't a flaw of any kind, and I love the formula used in every game. Just curious. I also would love From Software to take on a first-person project sometimes. I find it more immersive. It would obviously be tailored to work as a first-person game, but I would love to be in their world as such. So I guess something that you feel like is missing would make their games better, I guess. Some small feature. Like the idea of grinding and overcoming a challenge, I think that's part of the game, and they kind of want you to have that option.
And you still have to earn that. You still have to go out and be efficient. Don't die. Keep your souls. Level that up. You earn that. That's not cheese at all.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of what I was saying about Red Dead earlier, where to me, Elden Ring feels like the culmination of the formula.
It is.
Period. Like, end of the line. Will they make... Obviously, there's going to be... Well, not obviously. There's going to be DLC, whatever. Like, so I guess... I kind of have the anti of this question. It's like nothing is missing. It's like now I want refinements. Now I want subtractions. I want things taken out. I want to go back to the drawing board. You know, I feel like with the Bloodborne in there and the Sekiro in there, it does kind of like alleviate kind of the formula because those do feel different. Yeah. And then now Elden Ring is like the biggest of all of that. But yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything missing from those games, but definitely going forward, I would like them to scale it back a little bit.
Scale what back?
Size
of the world?
Yeah. I don't think the next Souls game needs to be as big as...
No, I don't think it needs to be an open world game.
Or even, I don't even think it needs to be an open world game. Yeah. I
don't think their next game will be.
Yeah, something more along the lines of like a Sekiro. Back to that kind of... more focus, maybe.
What I really want from a game is they have never done like a highly populated area, like a town, really well. Like they've done small things like the Nexus, I guess you could count. That's like the closest we've gotten to a quote unquote town. I would like to see them how they handle that.
Knights of the Round Hold. What was that?
The Round Table Hold. That's like the closest you get, but like an actual town walking into this place, maybe. Taking that to the next level, I'd like to see how they would handle that.
Absolutely, Brad.
I want a journal.
Okay, yeah.
Bro.
Like notes?
10 out of 10.
So I could 10
out of 10.
I come across something and I can make a note of oh, this is where this NPC was or whatever. Yeah. And maybe it's not manual writing, but if you've engaged, it's just better quest tracking, but you got to manually, it doesn't automatically fill it in. You have to go in and hit a button or something. So you open your journal to a page. It's I did talk with this NPC. Now it gives you the option to fill in something about them there, but you got to remember to do it. So it's a little bit of an effort. It's just it's not all automated, so it's not becoming quest tracker menus or something like that. Yeah. I think of the Uncharted journal, or I also think of the Grail Diary from Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade. You put in the work, you get notes to puzzles and stuff. It's or this boss, an NPC mentions something and it's oh, this boss kind of fits that description. Maybe they're this with the...
I do. I think the idea of a journal is totally cool, and especially reminding you of what you've done. I don't want it to get to the point where it'll be guiding me too much though. I still want that sense of me figuring something out, me going out there, me finding things that.
Yeah, it's mostly keep track of what you've already seen.
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So you don't forget to go back to some stuff, because that's my biggest thing is damn, I forgot about this. It's been 10 hours. What the hell? Mm-hmm. I should go back and do this.
Personal gripe. I always find a weapon and use it the whole game, because there's never enough crafting materials in Soulsborne games to spread it around, So I'll find my weapon, commit, and if I want to try something else, it's well, I don't have the mats, so it is objectively worse. I wish there was an easier way to, I on one hand, I love having to commit to said weapon, but on the other hand, it's well, now that I'm committed to this weapon, I can barely fucking use.
I think that's not true for Elden Ring more than ever.
Elden Ring, I was able to use a few more weapons, but still some of those higher level tiers, you bring one weapon up.
For the highest thing, there's still a limited amount, but it's
Yeah.
more than ever.
For sure. Getting better. For sure.
There's like the most opportunity in this game,
Yeah.
and any of them to level
Yeah.
up multiple things.
And if you like really find everything, like you could
Yeah.
like straight up just buy it from like
Yeah.
with enough
Yeah.
souls. But
right.
but it's like you still got to earn that right by like
Yeah,
exploring
yeah.
and figuring out. What
For
that
sure. I
item
think I
is.
missed some of those
Yeah.
those ore recipe things to buy or whatever.
Yeah, you did.
bells.
I know you did.
Yeah.
This question is from Red Sky. What's up, allies? With Persona celebrating its 25th anniversary and 15 million units sold worldwide this September, what do you want to see from Persona 6, or from the series in general? We've seen various ports, remakes, and spin-offs over the years, so what would be your ideal announcement to celebrate this big milestone for the franchise? I'll say Persona 6. I would like to see maybe college, or you.
Not high school setting.
Yeah, because we've done high school a lot, and maybe you work somewhere, like that's your school thing. I don't know. I know you get jobs in Persona, like side jobs, and maybe your main job is much more involved or something like that.
I like that.
Yeah, series does love its high school setting though.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like
No.
I know
mean,
in
you
person
can
I'd
get.
love
I think
that.
with college you can get away with that still.
How about it's both? You know, and it's a story spanning years, and you graduate high
Years?
school and then go to college.
That's
you're-
interesting. Yeah, Persona games are
Yeah.
usually like a year.
multiple
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, a couple. You're a senior. The game starts. You're a senior in high school, and then you do. You go to college.
You could just do time jumps more.
I mean, if
Now you're
fucking.
making me anxious for all like the management you have to do over
Yeah.
multiple years.
Let's go. I mean,
no.
shit. Persona 5, then Royal, like massive games, dude. They have the runway, they have the time and budget and expertise to do that.
I think it might be cool if they did not your characters that you come across to join your party aren't fixed potentially.
Oh.
Like, there might be like an option,
Like recruiting
Like each
some?
chapter, there might be like
Miss
two
or find 'em?
options. So like you either get this one or this one. And it's more in your social link system. So like they lean into that a little bit more, like your decisions.
Maybe use them in combat or something like that.
For example, yeah, like whoever you pick. You know, you can only invest in one in the first playthrough, so it gives replay value to get another one. But yeah, like they might offer like different options, like I mean, their abilities or whatever, the persona that they can bring in. I don't know. It's like it's a little nebulous, but like something like that where you have like just kind of like a recruitment thing that go with like your whole social thing, because like that's the thing. It's like you can form like bonds with characters, but like it doesn't really factor into like the recruitment into your party per se.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I do wonder about one not set in Japan, but I think that would lose a lot of what Persona is for people. The setting.
Japanese high school. Yeah.
I wonder if they can incorporate maybe like more than one town you go to or something like that. You know, because
When you graduate high school, then you go to college
maybe
in a new
like
town.
because like 4 is in Inaba, I think it's called, right? Then 5's in Tokyo, and I think 3 was in Tokyo also. But like maybe just exploring that more. I don't know. I'm not sure. Or maybe making just walking around town much more seamless. Not loading screens, like going from like screen to screen loading. It's all just kind of one big open thing connected.
I also hope it comes out before 2028.
Yeah.
I hope.
And on the current platform.
And yeah, I hope it's not a PS5 game on it, like
2028.
PS6.
Yeah. Or-
Would you want your main character to have more of their own voice? Like they say a lot of dialogue, like how your party members do?
This is always a tricky question. That's
Yeah.
case to case. Like
Yes.
any day I wake up, I'll give a different answer. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Feel like, yeah. I mean, honestly, I'll be honest. I don't know about that. I think maybe like staying the course for that is like fine. For me, the bigger thing about the MC is like nothing you pick. Don't wait for like the Royal or the Golden Edition to add a new MC in there. Like have both playable
Oh, I
MK
think only
characters.
3 had that, really. I mean, I think 1 and 2 maybe did, but 4, you
Yeah.
the same character. 5, you can't change the
Oh,
main
sorry.
character.
That's the only 3 that
They-
did it. Sorry,
yeah,
I
3
forgot Golden
3
didn't
does.
do it. Well, they also they added new characters.
Yeah,
not,
they did,
not
yes.
like the main character, but
Yeah,
I
sure.
think they should just do. Sorry, point is just make it a
I guess
choice.
if they do it,
choice.
Damiani,
Yeah.
especially like how it is now, your character is like you kind of embody the character a lot. I could see that being more easy to definitely do that. But I wonder if they decided to make your main character more in a scripted sense of how it is played out. Like, this character's written like this.
I think that
way.
part's fine. I mean, they like it's just like
It can be done because like Assassin's Creed does it, but
I think it'd be simple as picking like like what like Fire Emblem. It's like Byleth, like if you're male or female Byleth or whatever. Like they want to go like that. Fine, that's at least something. That's more than just like having like one choice.
100%, I agree.
I mean, even Pokemon does it at this point, so it's like give that option at least. Yeah.
I think being able to customize your character more would be good too.
Yeah, like, even if there's a few presets like that, like
sure.
just give some choices would be nice.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I know there's like they always have unlockable costumes or in DLC ones, so they will probably keep.
It'd be
that
sick
going.
if they have like a cast, like they reveal the cast of like 5-6 characters. Your choice is you pick who's your main character of that. So like you play from their perspective.
Whoa, that could be very ambitious, and that's like GTA shit.
There you go.
Yeah, it's so nice. I've got Royal in the back pocket, dude. Never played through
Well,
Royal.
the PS5 version's coming out.
Yeah, and I only played
Full
Persona
price.
5 once, so...
Only once. That's enough.
Dude, that second
you-
playthrough
Oh
is
my-
so
Last question
important.
about
Second
Persona.
playthrough.
My last question is: do you want Persona 6 to be shorter than 5, or are you cool with the length?
This is what I'm going to say about this, Brad. Persona 5 is absolutely the longest game I've ever played that I never wanted to end. Perfect. 100 hours, I wanted more.
I know Damiani does not feel that way.
I want the main story to be shorter. I want optional
like-
content to drag on longer.
Oh, okay.
Like, so
More optional
you still have the same amount of hours if you want to put into it, but it's like if you just want to see a story conclusion, you don't have to put in that much time.
Fair.
I think it's a
So
little.
you
fair.
want like
Yeah,
vacation side quest that's like 10 hours.
yeah. There are definitely people like me who was like,
It's
I
a
really like that
daunting
game,
task.
but it's like.
For most people.
I'm not of the mindset that like I want this to keep going. It's like no, I kind of want to end at this point.
Yeah,
like
I get
just like I know where we're going. Can we just get to that point? Like I'm ready for
Yeah,
it.
I get that. Final question from Brandon K. Gann. Hey everyone, have you ever encountered a remix that's better than the song, the original from like a game or something like that? For example, I really love the Gerudo Valley theme from Ocarina of Time, but I adore the remix of it used in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Are there any examples of rearranged music you think improves upon the original? Thanks for taking the submission if you do, and stay easy, allies.
Remake 7 battle theme is the greatest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's very good.
I'm so obsessed.
Very, very, yeah. Like, I
Oh
can't
my
tell you
God.
how many? There's like this is like endless possibilities question here, man.
Yeah.
It's like like newer versions of music in game, like like albums that put out that do like different versions of music.
Yeah.
It's like
Kingdom
Some of
Hearts,
them are
Final
like-
Fantasy,
yeah.
I bet.
Yeah,
right?
think about how many versions of Dearly Beloved there are.
yeah. I mean, it just like goes like from like live performance versions of some of this
Count
stuff.
it,
Like it
count
sounds
it.
like better. Like versus like in game versus like the orchestrated versions. It's like this goes on forever. So like too many examples to give, I guess is the answer to this question. So yes, like constantly, like
Yeah.
over like the like 20 plus years, like at least 20 plus years since like the 2000s, been encountering this like on a like routine basis.
Yeah, I guess here Final Fantasy 7 pops in my head all of it, right off the bat too first. I think of like just the main theme of Final Fantasy 7 in remake is just like Chef's Kiss.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous soundtrack.
Damn. I mean, do you have one specific example though? One.
The most specific example.
What is it? What Final
I don't
Fantasy
know.
14 rendition is it?
Yeah. That one that makes everyone cry.
Huh? No,
That's
I
like a
mean,
lot for people.
the original music is the best in 14. Like the updated versions are nice, but like that's not what are the standout things. Dang. Like I'm trying to think of like
Didn't Shadowbringers have like the best soundtrack of all time or something?
They all do.
Yeah.
All of them do.
They all. It's Final
All
Fantasy,
I mean,
of course.
dude, like
It's Final Fantasy.
You know what?
cut above the rest.
Hey, I can just like I can do a double dip here. So this is my patron fan mail.
Oh.
Was about the official music, like where the first time I thought video game music could be like better than this like Super Nintendo beep beep beeps and stuff like that. Like it actually is like, dude, this is like real music. The official Star Fox SNES soundtrack, which is JP only.
Yeah.
But obviously in the 90s, we got access to the internet. You know, sites had like links to like soundtracks.
Yeah.
I loved Star Fox at the time. One of my favorites, like games.
The game was sick.
Around the time Star Fox 64 came out, it's like 97 probably. So 3 years after Star Fox. It's 3 or 4 years after Star Fox. Maybe a little more than that. Got that soundtrack, dial up, downloading that crap for like 30 minutes per track probably. They have 3 tracks on that album that aren't in the game.
Oh.
They are arranged versions. That's what they were called back in the arranged.
Yeah, arranged.
Like, just like special arrangements of Corneria. And
Oh.
it sounds like this like action rock. Like it's amazing. Like
Cool.
it's already got a distinct thing. And like even like the Smash Brothers version of an Ultimate kind of takes a little bit of a page from it. It's like a little faster tempo. But man, like when I heard that, I was like, holy crap, this is good. Then like obviously like that same year, like heard Final Fantasy VII music. Heard a year later, heard Metal Gear Solid music. I'm like, dude, video game music can actually be really
crazy.
good. I was like, sounds like CD quality. Like I buy it at a store.
Yeah. Dawn, are you there?
Yes.
Do you have anything?
You know I do, Brad. I got one for this specific. You brought up Wave Race earlier, which I
Yes.
appreciate, calling out Nintendo once again for their lack of respect they're giving to the franchise. I do appreciate that, Brad.
Yep.
Speaking of Wave Race, there's a track, there's this group, they've got a channel, the Consoles. You might have heard of these guys. People have to check these SOULS, you know, Souls, Consoles. Anyway, they do jazz arrangements of different game tunes. They did a version called Sandy Beach Pop Rock cover of Wave Race 64. This is a real instrumentation. They got saxophone, the guitar riffs on this stuff. You listen to this, it is the most pleasing to the ear, more pleasing I'd say than the original. So that's my specific one. Sandy Beach Wave Race 64 pop rock cover by the Consoles. Check it out.
Good.
Damn.
That's a good one,
Sick.
Don.
Great shout out.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well thought out.
For Bloodworth, the F-Zero X guitar
Ooh.
album.
Good call.
Real guitars playing the F-Zero
That's
soundtrack.
sick, dude.
Like,
It's unhinged.
this is all just like electric guitar ballads. It's like now they're actually on real guitars. It sounds so good.
So sick.
Hell yeah. Well, that's it for Frame Trap, boys. That was a beefy episode, but it was good
Our
stuff.
frame trap. Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Welcome to the new era of Frame Trap. Dawn's era.
3-hour era.
Yeah,
Director's cut era.
director's cut. Yeah, we'll see if it's 3 hours when it's actually all said and done. I don't know how long that's been running. But, that's it. Do you have any final words, Mike, as our guest? I give you a final word and Dawn final words always. Just anything. Any thoughts?
Sometimes it's just really nice to hang out with Arthur Morgan.
Yeah? Dawn, do you have any parting words of wisdom?
Wisdom. Let me see. No, I'll just say my usual sign off. You know that by now. Maximum power. Look at that. I switched to you, Brad.
Hey, switch to me. Yeah, maximum
Mouth it out.
power.
There it is. Okay.
Damiani, thank you for being my co-host once again.
It's always a pleasure.
Always good having you guys. All right, that's it. We will see you all next time. Have a good one. Goodbye.
Adios.